My child, stop everything. I need your full attention. I've waited for this moment to speak to you, because your heart has been crying out behind closed doors, and I have heard every whisper. You asked me, please answer me, I'm waiting. And now I am. So don't scroll away. Don't treat this as background noise. Every second you stay is a step deeper into the very answer your spirit has been aching for. I will reveal things you forgot you prayed about. I will touch places you've tried to numb. And if you leave now, you'll miss what I've been preparing for years. This isn't entertainment. This is encounter. You're not here by accident. I brought you. I'm speaking. So stay, watch, and listen with everything in you, because by the end of this message, everything will shift. My beloved child, I heard your whisper before you even spoke. The ache in your spirit, the silent plea, I felt it echo through the chambers of eternity. You think I've been silent, but I've been standing right beside you all along. My beloved child, do not confuse my stillness for absence. I have been closer to you than your next breath, more present than the shadows that wrap around your heart in the silent hours of the night. I've watched you cry out with no audience but your pillow, and still you whispered, please, answer me. And child, though it seemed as if no reply came, I tell you now, I heard that whisper before your lips even formed it. I felt the ache before it reached your chest. Every tremble in your voice was translated in heaven as thunder. You did not go unnoticed. You never have. You are not one cry among many. You are my heart's focus. When others turned away, I leaned in. With the room emptied, I entered. When your faith wavered, I steadied you with a strength you didn't know was me. You thought it was just resilience. And no, beloved, it was my presence undergirding your fragility. I stood beside you when you couldn't even sense me. You were measuring my closeness by your emotions, but I was never subject to your feelings. I was present when you questioned me, present when you doubted, present even when you were too hurt to pray. My silence was not rejection, it was reverence. I didn't interrupt your grieving with quick answers, because your heart needed room to feel. I sat with you. I wept with you. And all the while, I held your name in my hands as a sacred treasure. I waited until your soul was quiet enough to feel my nearness again. You think I speak only through grand moments, thunder, visions, confirmations that make the earth shake. But I speak best through the stillness. And in that stillness, I have never missed a word you whispered. You didn't even need to articulate it perfectly. I understood the cry beneath your silence. That ache, the one too deep for language, that with the sound that reached me first. I'm not distant, child. I am standing right here, and I have been answering you in ways you've mistaken for coincidence, for delay, for emptiness. But I am about to show you what I've been writing behind the veil of silence. You must understand, beloved, I do not operate within the limits of time the way you do. While you were staring at the clock, wondering if I forgot, I was already in motion. While you were rehearsing your prayers, I was releasing the first waves of answers in realms you couldn't see. Heaven was not on pause. It was preparing. I heard your whisper, yes, but more than that, I felt it. It pulsed like lightning through the eternal corridors where I dwell. Your voice matters to me. Your heart, even in its quietest, most desperate form, is louder than the noise of nations in my ears. I have counted every sigh, recorded every tear, honored every pause where you hoped I would show up. And I have. I've been there, standing beside your unmade bed, walking silently beside you in rooms full of people who didn't see your pain. You thought you were alone, but it was my arm under your tired shoulders. It was my breath steadying your anxious heartbeat. And now, the time has come for you to see with clarity what you've only sensed in fragments. I am answering you, but not the way you expected. I am answering with my presence first, because no answer will satisfy the ache until you know I am near. I am not giving you direction without intimacy, instruction without embrace. The reason you've been desperate for a reply is not just because of the circumstances. It's because your spirit missed my closeness. And now I'm restoring what you thought was gone. The nearness you feared lost is rising like dawn around your soul. Yes, I've heard your whisper. And now, child, I speak clearly. You are not alone. You are not ignored. And the answer you've longed for begins with this. I am here. You didn't miss me. You didn't mishear me. The delay is not a denial. It is a divine setup. And now, I must answer you not with noise but with revelation. Beloved, take a deep breath, not just with your lungs but with your spirit. Let your soul inhale this truth. You did not miss me. That fear you carry, the one whispering that maybe you misread the signs, that you somehow took a wrong turn or lost the moment, that fear is a lie, forged in the fires of doubt and sent to drain your strength. But I am dismantling that lie right now. You didn't mishear. You didn't take a wrong step. In fact, you've been walking in closer alignment with me than you realize. While others ran ahead chasing clarity, you chose to wait in the fog, trusting that I would speak, and that choice, that sacred surrender, has not gone unnoticed. The delay you're walking through is not a punishment. It is a process. You're not behind. You're being positioned. I do not waste a single second, child. Even time answers to me. You've looked around and seen others receiving breakthroughs, others celebrating while you sit in silence. And you've asked, with trembling hope, did I miss it? But hear me. You can't miss what I've reserved for you. What I authored for your life cannot be stolen, delayed indefinitely, or diverted by anyone or anything. Not by confusion, not by comparison, not by the clock. This delay isn't me withholding love. It's me setting the stage. Heaven has been aligning people, places, and pieces, not for a generic blessing, but for a divine unveiling that only fits your fingerprint. I don't give you leftovers. I don't recycle other people's miracles. I prepare something original, something sacred, and I release it when your spirit is ready, not just your emotions. And beloved, now you're ready. Not perfect but postured. Not fearless but faithful. You've passed through the pressure, and now you are prepared for what I'm about to reveal. The veil is lifting. The fog is clearing. And the revelation I'm bringing is not just information. It's transformation. You've asked for an answer. I'm giving you insight. You prayed for a breakthrough. I'm giving you vision. You cried for direction. I'm giving you revelation. And revelation, child, is deeper than answers. Revelation doesn't just help you know where to go. It helps you know who you are. It rewrites your inner narrative. It awakens dormant courage. It silences the voices of shame that kept replaying scenes from your past like a broken record. My revelation is not a sound from the outside. It's a rising from the inside. And now, that rising has begun. The fog that once surrounded you wasn't hiding my voice. It was revealing your hunger. And that hunger, that holy ache, that persistent cry that kept echoing through your waiting, it reached me. And I respond to hunger. I reward it with truth. I meet it with fire. I crown it with vision. So don't shrink now. Don't lower your expectations. What's coming is not vague. It's not scattered. It's not delayed hope in a different disguise. No, this is a divine unveiling. I have been preparing this moment for longer than you've been praying for it. While you were pleading, I was planning. While you were fasting, I was forging. And now, I pull back the curtain. The delay was not a rejection. It was a resurrection of your purpose, of your discernment, of your identity. So hold still, child. Revelation is entering the room. And it's not coming with a whisper. It's coming like thunder wrapped in peace. What I'm about to show you will not just change what you do. It will redefine how you see. You didn't miss me. You didn't miss here. This is not the end. This is the unveiling. Your waiting wasn't passive. It was warfare. And every second you endured became a seed I planted for a harvest no enemy can steal. Child, I need you to know what your spirit already senses but has not yet fully grasped. Your waiting was not weakness. It was war. Your stillness was not stagnation. It was sacred strategy. Every moment you chose to trust me in the silence, every time you stayed faithful when it looked like nothing was changing, you were waging war in a realm others couldn't see. Hell trembled not because you shouted, but because you stood. Because you didn't quit. Because you didn't curse the season. Because you let me work in the dark without demanding immediate proof. Don't ever underestimate the power of silent obedience. It carries more weight in heaven than noisy striving. And what you endured in secret, what you wrestled with behind closed doors, that was not just survival. That was seed sowing. You were sowing faith into ground I had already anointed for breakthrough. You see, warfare isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like a whisper of praise when your world is falling apart. Sometimes it sounds like a broken amen when your heart is bleeding. Sometimes it feels like still waking up and putting one foot in front of the other when grief, confusion, or disappointment would rather you lie down and never get up again. But you rose anyway. You prayed anyway. You stayed anyway. That's warfare. And child, I didn't miss a moment of it. The battlefield was never empty. I was there with you, sword in hand, standing guard while you carried burdens no one saw. Every tear you thought was wasted. It watered the very soil that is now bursting with supernatural growth. The waiting was not dead time. It was divine tension, stretching your spirit, fortifying your faith, and preparing you for the weight of what I'm releasing. Let me make it clear. Nothing the enemy sent against you will prosper. Not one curse will stick. Not one assignment will succeed. Because while he was busy trying to wear you out, I was writing a reward he can't touch. This harvest is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is not conditional on man's approval. It is heaven sealed, warfare protected, and time released. And the time is now. You thought your waiting left you behind, but it actually moved you ahead. You are not late, beloved. You are arriving in perfect alignment. This is not payback for pain. It is placement by promise. And I do not break covenant. I don't forget seeds sown in tears. I don't overlook faith exercised in exhaustion. The battlefield you crawled through is becoming the vineyard you now inherit. So yes, child, lift your head. The ground beneath you is shifting. The warfare is bearing fruit, and it will not be stolen. I have encircled your promise with fire, and no weapon formed against it will prosper, and no voice will silence what I've spoken over you. This harvest is personal. It carries your name, and not even the fiercest enemy in hell can uproot what I have planted. You didn't waste time waiting. You didn't lose anything by staying faithful. You were sowing in sacred soil. And now, Beloved, the reaping begins. You've questioned, where are you, God? And here I am, child, answering not with a sound, but with a shift that has already begun under your feet. My child, I heard the question before you dared to whisper it. I saw the way your eyes scanned the skies, waiting for a sign. I felt the tremor in your chest when you said, where are you, God? Not with accusation, but with the ache of one who still hopes I will speak. And now I say to you, I am here. I've been here. Not hiding in the clouds or tucked away behind some unreachable veil. I've been in the ache, in the breath, in the silence. I've been sitting on the edge of your bed while you wept with fists clenched beneath the blanket of night. I didn't wait for you to shout to show up. I arrived in the whisper. I didn't wait for the storm to stop. I walked straight into it with you. I didn't wait for the pain to pass. I entered it. I wrapped myself around the wound and waited with you until the bleeding slowed. You asked where I was. I've been shifting things beneath your feet this whole time. Let me tell you something sacred, something few understand. My answers don't always begin with sound. They often begin with movement. The holy hush before the breakthrough. A shift in the wind before the sky splits. What you called silence was me breaking ground. I was moving the roots of things too deep for your eyes to see. I was replanting the very foundation beneath your life, rearranging what others thought was unchangeable. I did denounce it with thunder because I wasn't trying to oppress. I was trying to restore. You weren't being ignored. You were being realigned. Child, when you said, where are you? I leaned closer. I tilted eternity toward your cry. And while your lips trembled, my hands were already working. I was speaking in the language of shift, of divine repositioning. You felt unstable, but that instability was sacred. The ground shook because I was dismantling what could not hold you. I was destroying weak scaffolding and making room for something indestructible. And now, beloved, that shift is almost complete. You don't even realize it, but the ground you're walking on is no longer the same. The place you stand hath been consecrated by your questions. The very soil you thought was barren is about to burst with growth. You didn't see me moving, but you'll see the fruit of my movements. Answers are emerging like roots from the deep. And yes, they'll look unfamiliar at first. They won't always sound like what you expected, but listen, child, the answers are not late. They've simply taken the shape of change. You won't hear thunder this time. You'll feel the weight of what's been transformed. You won't see fire from the sky, but you will walk into rooms you never thought you'd enter. Meet people you didn't know were connected to your future. Watch opportunities arrive that feel tailor-made for your soul. These are not accidents. They are signals. They are sacred evidence of my response. So hear me clearly now. The shift has begun. It doesn't matter if others can't see it yet. I'm not revealing it to the crowd. I'm revealing it to you. Because you were the one who waited. You were the one who whispered. You were the one who stayed. And now, I say with finality, I am here. The question has been answered. Not with echoes, not with symbols, but with a shift so exact, so personal, that even your doubts will bow. Watch what begins to unfold from this day forward. The trembling in your spirit was not anxiety. It was your answer, arriving like wind before the rain. I am no longer distant. I am fully present. The silence is over. The shift is here. The reason it's felt so heavy is because the answer I'm bringing carries weight, not a temporary fix, but a permanent transformation. Child, I know the heaviness. I know the kind that sits on your chest at night, making your breath shallow and your prayers even shallower. I know the type that follows you like a shadow, silent, but suffocating. You've been carrying a weight that didn't come from failure, but from forming. And now you wonder why the answer hasn't come quickly. Why the relief hasn't arrived wrapped in something easy. But listen closely, beloved. The answer hasn't come lightly because what I'm giving isn't light. It carries glory. And glory always has weight. You asked me for more, but more does not float. More does not dance into your life like a feather. No, more arrives like a river, and rivers reshape landscapes. You are not receiving a bandage for your pain. You're being handed a blueprint for your becoming. And blueprints are heavy because they carry destiny. I didn't come to comfort only. I came to construct. I didn't show up just to soothe. I came to shift. That weight you feel pressing down isn't punishment. It's preparation. It's your soul being stretched to contain what I'm about to pour in. You've outgrown the small prayers, the shallow answers, the surface solutions. And now I am responding with something deeper, richer, heavier, but holier. It's not a temporary fix. It's a total reformation of who you are in me. You wanted peace. I'm giving purpose. You asked for healing. I'm releasing wholeness. You prayed for pavilion. I'm unveiling positioning. This is not about removing discomfort. This is about replacing instability with unshakable design. And design always takes time. Glory always requires space. What I'm building inside you can't be rushed, diluted, or handed off casually. And here's what I want you to see clearly now. The weight you've been feeling isn't all yours. It's mine too. You're not carrying it alone. I've been undergirding every sigh, every tremble, every weariness in your spirit with my own strength. I've been allowing you to feel the edge of the weight so you would stretch, but never snap. I know your limits better than you do. And I've kept you from breaking, even in the moments you thought you were done. You cried, "This is too much." But I whispered, "No, this is just enough to make room for what's next." And now, the answer that's arriving will make the weight make sense. The heaviness has been preparing you for something enduring. What I give now will not fade with time. It won't slip through your fingers like sand. It will anchor you. It will define your season. It will mark your territory. This is not a lightweight miracle. This is a mountain-moving manifestation. So if the road has felt steep, it's because the view from the top is sacred. If the burden felt unbearable, it's because the breakthrough will be unforgettable. The heaviness, child, has meaning. And now, that meaning is coming into view. You are not being crushed. You are being carved into a vessel strong enough to carry the very thing you were born to release. And when it comes, and it will come soon, you'll look back on this weight, and you'll understand. You'll see how I didn't just answer you. I transformed you. And you will never be the same. I wasn't ignoring you. I was insulating you. From people who didn't deserve access. From outcomes that were too small for your destiny. My precious child, the silence you mistook for absence was actually strategy. I wasn't ignoring your prayers. I was insulating your purpose. There's a difference. You see, when I'm about to release something weighty, when I'm preparing a gift that carries eternal substance, I do not allow reckless hands to come near. I do not permit premature applause or counterfeit comfort. You were asking for answers, but I was building protection. I was surrounding you with divine insulation, not to keep the blessing from getting to you, but to keep pollution from getting in. You cried out, "Why won't you let them stay? Why didn't that work out? Why is this so quiet?" And I whisper back now, because what I'm preparing can't be touched by people who only loved your potential but never carried your promise. You were never being rejected. You were being reserved. You thought I was stripping things away, when really, I was safeguarding the sacred. I watched as some people tried to enter your story with intentions wrapped in flattery, but motives stained with self-interest. I heard the conversations behind closed doors, the ones you never knew about. I saw the plans that would have diluted your calling, stolen your focus, and distracted you with temporary comfort. And I, your father, stepped in. I sealed doors. I blocked access. I let you mourn the loss of what I never assigned, just so I could birth in you the strength to recognize what's truly yours when it arrives. That silence was not punishment, it was preservation. And child, your future was too precious to leave unguarded. I did not allow you to succeed in places that would have sabotaged your purpose. I did not permit the relationships, the opportunities, even the moments that looked golden, because they weren't. They sparkled, but they weren't divine. And I didn't want you to settle for a stage when I was preparing you for a sanctuary. The outcomes you prayed for were smaller than the destiny I dreamed for you. You wanted what would fix things wiggly. I wanted what would form you completed. That's why I didn't say yes when you begged me to. That's why I remained quiet when you pleaded for a breakthrough. I wasn't cold. I was careful. I was keeping you hidden while your roots grew deeper than you could see. And child, roots don't make noise. They grow underground. They grow in darkness. But they hold up trees that touch heaven. And that's what I was growing in you. Not applause, but anchoring. Now, the insulation is lifting. Slowly but surely. And what's coming will not collapse under scrutiny. You won't have to compromise to keep it. You won't need to over-explain your obedience to people who never understood your assignment. I removed the noise so you could hear me clearly. I removed the crowd so your character could be shaped in stillness. And now, when the door opens again, and it will, you'll walk through not as one needing validation, but as one carrying revelation. You will no longer beg for access. I will grant it, not by force but by favor. And it will be clear who I kept away, who I kept close, and what I was building when you thought I was being silent. I wasn't ignoring you, child. I was insulating the glory I placed within you. There's been a shaking in your spirit for a reason. It was me, turning over the soil where my answer is about to bloom. Beloved, that trembling inside you, that persistent disquiet that refuses to let you rest, that's not anxiety. That's me. It's the sound of your spirit responding to my nearness. I've been stirring the deep places, turning the ground beneath your soul like a gardener preparing for rain. You thought something was wrong. You thought you were unraveling. But child, you were awakening. I have been moving in hidden places, not to unsettle you, but to unearth you. The shaking you felt is sacred. It is divine destruction. I am disturbing the soil of your life, because I refuse to let you settle for shallow roots. You prayed for harvest, but harvest can't grow on unbroken ground. So I came, not with a whisper this time, but with a shovel, turning over the hard places, breaking the dry ground, making space for the seeds you didn't even know were planted. You see, when I answer, I don't sprinkle comfort. I cultivate capacity. And that shaking you felt, that sense that something is about to change, that the atmosphere around you has become too tight, that is me expanding your internal landscape. I'm not just giving you breakthrough. I'm preparing the environment where breakthrough can bloom. I'm tilling the ground, overturning old patterns, exposing buried fears, and removing weeds that once looked like wisdom. Yes, I shake before I plant. I unsettle before I establish. And child, I've been shaking things not to destroy you, but to make you fertile again. You were dry because you were dormant, not dead. And now I declare, the shaking is almost complete, and the planting is already beginning. You're about to see the first signs of green where you thought all was barren. Let me tell you something you need to hear now. The deeper the shaking, the greater the blooming. I shook you awake because what I'm planting carries weight, and heavy answers can't grow in light, untouched soil. I had to break it open. I had to get beneath your surface, where your true faith lives, not your public praise, but your private perseverance. You stayed when it hurt. You trusted through tears. You worshiped through weariness. And now I am planting in that sacred soil. I'm not giving you what's convenient. I'm giving you what's consecrated. The shaking was not judgment. It was preparation. And now your spirit, though sore, is ready. The seeds of your waiting, your prayers, your whispered obedience, they are about to rise. And they will not be stolen. They will not be scorched, because the ground has been made holy by your endurance. So don't fear the shaking. Don't misinterpret the discomfort. It wasn't chaos. It was cultivation. The Spirit of the living God is not passive. I move. I stir. I shake. But always for a purpose. And my purpose in you is about to break through the surface. What you thought was pressure was actually prophecy, coming alive in the soil of your heart. And what I've planted, I will water. What I water, I will grow. What I grow, no enemy can uproot. You're standing in a divine field now, child. The shaking is subsiding. The stillness is returning. And soon, you'll look around and see evidence where there used to be emptiness. That's my answer. Not just in words, but in blue. This isn't about a simple yes or no. It's about timing, alignment, preparation. What you thought was me being distant was me being deliberate. Child, if only you could see the intricacy of what I've been arranging behind the veil. If you knew how every piece, every pause, every seemingly unanswered prayer was stitched into a larger, glorious tapestry, your heart would rest in reverence. This moment you're in, this long pause you've mistaken for my absence, has actually been the furnace of my precision. I have not been silent because I don't care. I've been deliberate because I do. You see the delay, but I see the alignment. You see the stillness, but I see the synchrony. This is not about me tossing out a quick yes or no from the heavens. This is about the birthing of something that will ripple through your life, your lineage, your legacy. What I'm forming can't be rushed. And I refuse to give you something temporary when I've promised you something timeless. You were asking me for resolution, but I was establishing foundation. You prayed for clarity, but I was cultivating capacity. Timing to you feels like a clock ticking. To me, timing is a throne decision, set with heavenly weight, not earthly urgency. I was not delaying to frustrate you. I was maturing what I placed inside of you so that when my answer arrives, it finds not just an open heart, but a steady one. This is the kind of alignment that cannot be fabricated by effort. It must be formed in the fire of trust. So yes, while you've waited, I've been weaving, lining moments, moving people, redirecting decisions, routing you away from what would have looked like a blessing but broken under pressure. I don't just answer your cries. I prepare your environment so that when the promise lands, it flourishes. You've been asking me, just tell me what to do. But child, I'm not just forming your steps, I'm forming you. And sometimes, the deeper miracle isn't in the answer I give, but in the kind of person you become while you wait for it. You are becoming the kind of vessel that doesn't crack under weight, the kind of soul that doesn't collapse under blessing. And now, you're almost ready, Not ready in perfection, but ready in posture. Your surrender has shifted things. Your consistency has aligned timelines, and the window of divine alignment is swinging open. When I answer you now, it will not be with a single word. It will be with a divine unveiling, where pieces begin to fit without your striving, and paths open without your pushing. This will be a yes that reverberates through every part of you, a confirmation wrapped in undeniable clarity. So do not despise the pacing. Do not curse the cadence. I am not being slow. I am being sovereign. What I'm aligning for you has eternal implications, and I will not let it arrive out of sync. I'm not waiting for circumstances to line up. I'm waiting for the collision point where your faith, your character, and my purpose intersect. And child, you are standing on the brink of that collision. What you called delay was actually divine choreography. And now, the curtain is about to rise. Stay close. Stay sensitive. And above all, stay surrendered. The answer is coming. But even more than that, alignment is already here. You cried out in the dark and thought I didn't respond, but I was answering in ways your eyes couldn't see. I was writing behind the veil. Beloved, I remember that night, the one you thought no one saw, the one where the silence felt unbearable, where the stars seemed too far, and your prayer felt too fragile to rise. I remember the way your voice trembled as you asked, God, are you even listening? I always am. I didn't just hear you. I held that moment in the palm of my hand. Your whisper, soaked in weariness and wonder, wasn't lost in the air. It was absorbed by my presence. I caught every syllable like a sacred offering. And though you didn't hear thunder, though you didn't see signs, I was moving in ways your eyes couldn't interpret. Because some of my greatest answers are written in silence. There are things I do behind the veil not to keep you in the dark, but to keep the work sacred. Some breakthroughs can't be seen while they're being formed. Just as a seed must remain hidden in the soil before it breaks open in the light, so too must my response remain concealed until the moment it's strong enough to be revealed. I wasn't ignoring you, child. I was orchestrating things too weighty, too holy, too tender to be exposed too soon. I was shifting atmospheres, sending angels, blocking plans of the enemy before they reached your door. And while you wondered if I had left, I was whispering blueprints into the earth, blueprints that bear your name. You see when you cry and where are you? I was not offended. I was moved. Not just emotionally, I was moved into action. But my movement is not always loud. My intervention is not always visible. Sometimes I answer through delay because I'm protecting the promise. Sometimes I cover your eyes not to confuse you, but to consecrate what I'm doing. The veil wasn't to keep you out. It was to shield the process. You weren't being punished. You were being positioned. And now, beloved, the veil is beginning to lift. And what I've been writing in secret will soon be shouted by evidence. Not just a feeling, but fruit. Not just a sense, but manifestation. The answer hath been hidden for preservation, not denial. You're about to read what I wrote when you thought I was silent. You're about to walk into the rooms I was building while you were kneeling in prayer, asking for a sign. I wasn't delayed. I was detailed. I wasn't absent. I was authoring. Every tear you shed watered the parchment where I was writing your deliverance. Every sigh, every sacrifice, every sleepless night, I used them as ink to script a miracle that fits your fingerprint. So don't rush to conclusions based on what you didn't see. Instead, prepare your heart to receive what I'm about to unveil. This is not just an answer. This is the evidence that I was working all along. The veil is lifting, child. And when it does, you'll know I never left. I just worked in silence so your faith would hear me first. You thought the silence meant I forgot. But I have engraved your name into the scrolls of fulfillment, and I am not late. Child, let me speak directly to that place inside you that has quietly wondered if I moved on. That sacred part of you that's tried to hold on to faith, even while fear whispered, maybe he forgot. I see it. I see the way you smile on the outside while wondering on the inside whether your name still echoes in heaven's halls. And today, I come not just to reassure you, but to reveal something deeper. I haven't just remembered you. I have engraved you. Your name is not floating in thought, fading in memory, or tucked away in the shadows of my mind. No, I have inscribed you into the scrolls of fulfillment, into the divine record that cannot be erased, into the plans that are unfolding even now. Heaven is not behind. Heaven is on schedule. And you, my beloved, are not late. You're right on time for what I have authored. The silence wasn't a signal that I had forgotten. It was the sacred sound of alignment in progress. In your world, silence feels like emptiness. But in my realm, silence is the space where seeds take root. You were mistaking divine stillness for divine neglect. But oh, child, I was nearer than breath, closer than the ache inside your chest. When your prayers felt like whispers to a locked sky, I was collecting every syllable. I was bottling every tear. You are not a name among millions to me. You are the one I lingered over. The one I watched when no one else saw the cost. The one whose story I refused to rush, because what I've written for you is too weighty to be released prematurely. The scroll of your fulfillment is not scribbled in haste. It is penned with precision. And the ink I've used was not just made of promise. It was formed with your endurance, your prayers, your surrender. Let me say this plainly, so that every lie that has whispered forgotten will fall silent. I am not late. I have never been late. What I am doing in your life has not missed its moment. It is not stuck behind your failures or delayed by your detours. My timing is not tied to your timeline. It is tethered to your transformation. And I do not deliver promises to those who are simply waiting in time. I deliver to those who are maturing in trust. And you, beloved, have trusted me through silence. You've trusted me through unanswered doors, through closed windows, through foggy seasons where even your hope felt fragile. And that trust is now being translated into fulfillment. You're about to see the scrolls open. You're about to see what I've written behind the scenes. You're about to realize, I never forgot. I was preparing a fulfillment that could not be forged by man. This next season will not be shaped by striving. It will be defined by divine remembrance. The kind that moves mountains. The kind that parts seas. The kind that takes a name, your name, and places it on a door no man can close. You have been remembered, not as a concept, not as a number, but as a child. My child. Engraved. Sealed. Awaited. You have never been forgotten. You have always been foreseen. Yes, I know you've been waiting. But even as I'm answering you, I'm calling you to help me answer someone else. There are voices crying out across the earth, waiting, aching, whispering, God, please answer me, and I am sending this message to them through you. Your support, through super thanks, membership, or a gift through the link below, is not just a donation. It's a seed of fire, a river of oil, a light in someone's cave of silence. He who refreshes others will himself be refreshed. Proverbs 11:25. And I will do it for you. I've entrusted you with this moment to multiply my word, to carry what healed you into the hearts of others. So don't hesitate. So now, while the Spirit is moving, be my vessel and act now. You didn't wait in vain. You waited in purpose. You waited with faith when Lot begged you to walk away. Child, let me honor you for something the world never applauded. Let me shine light on a part of your story that others overlooked. Your waiting. Not the kind that is passive, but the kind that costs you everything. The kind that required you to wrestle with silence, wrestle with time, wrestle with your own understanding, and still choose me. You didn't wait because it was easy. You waited because something deeper than logic called you to stay. You waited when walking away would have been simpler. You waited when doubt made more sense than faith. And I want you to know this now. Your waiting was not in vain. It was not meaningless. It was purposeful. Every moment was measured. Every tear was counted. Every hour of surrender has been woven into the fabric of my plan. You were building something in the waiting that can't be built in acceleration. You were forging depth, establishing roots, carving out a space in your soul that could hold the weight of what I'm bringing. While others rushed ahead chasing the visible, you sat with the invisible. You chose trust over timelines. You chose worship over worry. And that choice, repeated again and again in the quiet hours, formed something eternal in you. That's what I needed, not perfection, but posture. Not answers, but obedience. And now, that posture is about to be honored. The waiting didn't delay your promise. It prepared you for it. You were never behind. You were being built. There were days you felt fully for holding on. Days when you asked yourself, am I crazy for believing? Days when the silence felt louder than my word. But you stayed. You planted your hope like a flag in the soil of uncertainty. You dared to believe that I was still writing, still moving, still planning. And child, that belief has moved me. Not because it was loud, but because it was loyal. Not because it shouted from stages, but because it whispered in secret. That kind of faith cannot go unrewarded. Heaven has taken notice. And now I'm moving in response, not just to your pain, but to your posture. You waited, not because you were weak, but because you were wise. You knew that what I have for you is better than what you could build for yourself. And now, that waiting is about to turn into witnessing. What once felt like a delay will now be seen as design. And the moment I open this next chapter, you will see the purpose in every painful pause. So don't regret the wait. Rejoice in it. Because you're about to hold the very thing your faith made room for. And now, I answer you not only with words, but with movement. My hand is stirring the waters. The breakthrough is in motion. Beloved, open your heart wider now, for I am not merely sending comfort. I am releasing movement. You've waited for a whisper, longed for a word, but I am bringing more than what can be spoken. I'm bringing a shift, a holy stirring. My hand is not still. It is reaching, ranging, breaking through barriers, and touching what man said was untouchable. The still waters that once surrounded your life are beginning to ripple with divine energy. The stagnation is breaking. The delay is crumbling. You may not see the full picture yet, but the undercurrent has already shifted. I am no longer responding in theory. I am moving in manifestation. What you could not move by effort, I am moving by decree. And when I move, child, nothing can remain the same. I am the God who parted seas, who stirred the pool at Bethesda, who walked upon waves. And I tell you now, the water is stirring again. I've dipped my hand into the places of delay. I've spoken to the deep. What once sat motionless is now quickening under the weight of my presence. You thought it would take another year, another cycle, another season. But my power is not bound by time. Breakthrough does not require warning. It requires obedience. And you obeyed. You waited. You trusted when trust felt like insanity. You stood still long enough for the stirring to begin. And now it begins. Quietly at first, like the tremble before a quake. But soon it will be undeniable. The doors will open. The pieces will align. What felt stuck will spring forward with sudden velocity. This is not emotional hype. This is spiritual reality. I'm moving in the unseen, in the areas where prayers seemed unanswered, where you almost gave up. You thought I was far. I was just waiting for the fullness of time. Now the fullness has come, and I am answering not just in symbolic gestures, but in undeniable shifts. The breakthrough won't be abstract. It will be tangible. You'll see it in divine appointments, in unexpected favor, in open doors you didn't knock on, in healing that flows like water into places you didn't even know were broken. The ground beneath your feet is responding to heaven's movement. Don't be surprised when everything starts changing. That's what happens when I stir the waters. So rise up now in faith, not timidly, but with holy boldness. Step into the water. Step into what you prayed for. You no longer need to wonder if I heard you. Now you must prepare to receive what I've already released. The breakthrough is not on the way. The breakthrough is in motion. The ripples have started. And child, you will not miss it, because I'm carrying you into it. This ache in your heart to hear from me, that is proof that your spirit still trusts me. That's what moved my hand. Oh child, the ache you carry, I feel it. The deep longing, the pull in your chest when you wake up. The ache that doesn't have words, just wait. That's not weakness. That's not foolishness. That ache is worship. That ache is trust still burning in your bones even after the waiting stretched longer than expected. You think you've grown weary, but what I see is endurance. You believe your hope is fragile, but what I hear in your spirit is faith that refuses to die. You're still reaching, still asking, still waiting to hear my voice. That ache, that holy ache, is not a wound. It is a witness. It testifies that your heart is still tethered to mine, even through silence, even through confusion. And child, that trust, that quiet, aching trust, is what moved me. Not the volume of your prayer, but the consistency of your heart. You didn't just cry out once and forget. You kept returning. Even when your faith felt like a flickering flame, you protected it. And I watched you keep the lamp burning in the midnight hour. I watched you keep the door open even when it seemed no one would come. You thought I was waiting for stronger faith, but I was watching for deeper hunger. And you gave me that. You gave me your ache. You gave me the cracked places. And I took them. I held them in my hands as sacred offering. You didn't need perfect words. You didn't need eloquence. You just needed real longing. And that's what I've seen in you all along. I have never turned away from that kind of trust. I have never ignored the cry that comes not from performance, but from pure dependence. You're not failing. You're growing. And the proof is that you still long for me. That longing is not born from despair. It is born from memory. Your spirit remembers my voice. Your soul remembers the sweetness of my nearness. And that ache is your inner being crying out for what it knows is real. And now, child, I am answering not just with revelation, but with restoration. I am restoring that ache into intimacy, that trust into transformation. I am going to meet you not just with answers, but with encounter. So let your heart feel again. Don't shut it down. Don't silence the ache. Because that ache is a signal. It is the whisper before the voice. The knock before the door swings open. It is the soft thunder of your spirit calling mine, and I have heard you. The ache has moved me. And now, child, I move for you. You think you've been waiting for me, but child, I've also been waiting for you. To come closer. To lean in. To trust me with your whole heart. There is something you've not yet seen clearly, beloved. Something I want you to feel, not just understand. You believe this entire time has been you waiting on me. But what if I told you I've been waiting too? Waiting not in frustration, not in distance, but in love. I have been waiting for you to come not just with your words, but with your wounds. Not just with your hopes, but with your hesitations. You've brought me pieces of your trust, the polished, the prepared, the predictable parts. That I've been over all of you. Not the version you think I want, but the real you, the weary, the wondering if I still care you. Yes, that you. I want the trembling trust, not just the triumphant praise. I want the raw questions, not just the rehearsed confessions. You see, I've been waiting for proximity, not just prayers, not just performances, but closeness, face to face, heart to heart. The kind of closeness where you don't have to earn my nearness. You simply receive it. I didn't want your striving. I wanted your stillness. I didn't need your effort. I desired your honesty. While you were busy asking me to come, I was saying, come to me. I've been near all along, but now I want you to draw near, too. Not because I'm hard to reach, but because when you lean in, you hear differently. And child, this next season will require you not just to hear from me occasionally, but to live in tune with me continually. This isn't just about direction, it's about intimacy. I'm not just calling you into action, I'm calling you into closeness. I don't want to be a part of your life. I want to be the pulse of it. I want to sit in the quiet corners with you, to be in the thoughts you don't tell anyone, to walk with you not only on the stages, but in the shadows. This is a season where I am inviting you into a deeper knowing, a deeper awareness of my presence, a deeper surrender, not because I want to take, but because I want to fill. You've been trying to move forward with pieces of your heart still guarded, but I am asking now, gently but firmly, will you trust me with the rest? The part of your heart that's still bruised, the part that still wonders if I'll come through. Let me in, beloved. I can't just be your hope, I must be your home. You have not been the only one waiting. I have waited too, waited for the moment your heart would soften enough to risk again. Waited for the day you would stop running on fumes and start drinking deeply of my love. That day is now, and I will not turn you away. I will not rebuke your hesitation. I will receive you, fully, wholly, tenderly. And once you are with me, truly with me, you will discover that what you were waiting for all along wasn't just a breakthrough. It was me, and I am already here. You thought your delay disqualified you, but I say your delay has deepened you, and what I'm releasing now will rest on who you've become. Let's speak plainly, my child. You've looked at the calendar and assumed you missed your moment. You've replayed decisions, regrets, missed opportunities like a movie loop, convincing yourself that because things didn't happen when you thought they should, it means you've lost your chance. But I, the Lord your God, say this to you now. I do not operate on your clock. I do not measure worth by speed. I measure by its surrender. And your surrender has not disqualified you. It has deepened you. I never asked you to be perfect. I asked you to be yielded. And in the long nights, in the aching delays, in the wilderness where you wondered if I even remembered your name, that's where I carved depth into your soul. Do you not see it? Do you not feel the difference in who you are now, compared to who you were when you first asked me to move? You carry weight now. Not worldly pressure, but spiritual authority. Not anxiety, but awareness. Not desperation for visibility, but hunger for me. You've been forged in silence, tempered in waiting, refined in hiddenness. While the world celebrated the fast and flash, I celebrated the faithful and unseen. You thought the delay made you less qualified, but child, the delay made you dangerous to the enemy. You are no longer moved by shallow praise, no longer tempted by counterfeit promises, because now you've been rooted. And what I'm releasing in this hour needs someone who has roots, not just wings. Someone who can carry the weight without cracking. This is not the kind of blessing that comes cheap. This is the kind that rests only on those who have been through the fire and didn't run. And you, yes, you, have remained. Even when you didn't understand. Even when you were angry. Even when your faith fell threadbare. You didn't quit. You didn't sell out. You didn't trade intimacy for imitation. You stayed. You fought quietly. You whispered amen when no one was watching. And now, because of that, I am releasing a new measure, not just of breakthrough, but of presence. Not just of opportunity, but of anointing. I will open doors, yes, but more importantly, I will place something on your life that cannot be explained by resume or results. It will only be explained by the oil of obedience. So lift your eyes. Stop mourning the pace of your journey. Stop resenting the process that preserved you. Your delay was never disqualification. It was divine preparation. And now, because you've let me dig deep, I will build high. I will lift you, not to exalt you, but to display what I can do through a surrendered life. But delay didn't disqualify you. It revealed you. And now, beloved, the release begins. You did imagine the promises. You discerned them. What I whispered to your heart wasn't fantasy, it was foretelling. Child, I must speak into this now, because you've quietly wondered if you were wrong. You've revisited those sacred moments, the dreams, the impressions, the promises that once lit your soul like fire, and lately, doubt has crept in like a shadow. Was that really God? You've asked, did I make it all up? But hear me clearly now. You did not fabricate those promises. You discerned them. You weren't chasing fantasy. You were receiving foretelling. I whispered into your spirit what your natural eyes could not see, not because I wanted to tease you, but because I was planting previews of what would one day bloom in reality. That was not imagination, it was revelation. I placed those desires in you on purpose. They weren't distractions. They were destiny's signal. You're not crazy for remembering what I said. You're faithful. You're not deluded for still believing. You're discerning. And yes, the enemy has worked hard to bury those moments under disappointment, under delay, under the weariness of waiting. But I tell you now, the original word still stands. Heaven has not been silent on what I declared over your life. I have not changed my mind. I have not revoked your assignment. Vision may have tarried, but it was never terminated. What I spoke into your spirit was real, and it still lives. And soon, child, what you saw in prayer will stand before you in power. I want you to return to those moments, not with skepticism, but with sanctified memory. I want you to remember the times I confirmed things when you weren't even asking. I want you to recall the dreams that kept showing up, the divine interruptions you couldn't explain, the confirmations that found you when you were just trying to move on. That wasn't coincidence. That was covenant. And I don't break covenant. I don't whisper empty promises. When I speak, it's because I've already made the way. The promise is not pending. It's preparing. And the you who first received the vision is not the same you who will carry it forward. You've been matured. You've been refined. And now, you are ready to walk in what once felt distant. So, child, breathe again. Believe again. Reclaim the promises you put on the shelf. They are not expired. They are not imaginary. They are imprinted on my heart, and I am faithful to perform them. Let the wind of my spirit blow on the embers of your hope again. What I whispered was real, and I do not lie. I do not tease. I fulfill. You didn't miss it. Even now, I am bending time to bring back around what others said was lost. Beloved, let me speak directly to the lie that has tried to haunt you. The lie that says you missed it, that you were too late, that the window closed, that if you had been better, faster, more obedient, more decisive maybe, then it would have worked out. I rebuke that lie now with the force of my truth. Hear me, you didn't miss it. I am the master of time. I don't measure destiny by deadlines. I am not limited by what was lost. I redeem. I restore. And even now, while you sit in the quiet thinking you're behind, I am bending time on your behalf. I am orchestrating a return, not to where you were, but to what was yours all along. The enemy wanted you to believe that delay was death, that you forfeited your future. But child, I do not surrender my plans to your mistakes. I do not withdraw promises because you hesitated. I build even with broken pieces. And while others may walk away when you falter, I remain. I work. I realign. I restore. I don't throw away destiny because of detours. I find a new road to the same result. You are not behind. You are being brought back around. Not in circles, in completion. Even now, things you thought were gone are finding their way back into orbit around your life. Not because you chased them, but because I commanded them. I am turning hearts, redirecting decisions, softening what was once sealed. And soon, you will see opportunities that once slipped away reappear with supernatural timing. Do not be surprised when what was once unreachable suddenly arrives with ease. Do not question it. Don't disqualify yourself. It's not happening because you earned it back. It's happening because I never removed it from your story. I only paused it until you were ready to carry it with depth. What's returning now is not recycled, it's redeemed. And it will fit you better than it did before. It will rest on you without striving. Because now, you've been shaped. Now, you've been softened. Now you're surrendered. And I can trust you with what I once had to withhold. I'm not just restoring time. I'm restoring purpose within that time. So take courage. Lift your head. Wipe the regret from your eyes. You didn't miss it. You didn't ruin it. You didn't fall too far. You were right on time for what I've ordained. And child, if I need to bend time, reopen doors, reverse decisions, or resurrect dead dreams to fulfill my word, I will. Because I am not just the God of now. I am the God of what you thought was over. You've asked for an answer. I'm giving you insight. You prayed for a breakthrough. I'm giving you vision. You cried for direction. I'm giving you revelation. Child, come close. I'm about to speak to you in a way that surpasses mere answers, because what you have really been starving for is understanding, not just information. You see, an answer tells you what to do. Insight tells you why you felt the way you did. A breakthrough gets you unstuck. Vision shows you where you are going. Revelation opens the heavens above you and the depths inside you so that you no longer navigate by sight, fear, or pressure, but by purpose and clarity. I'm not just giving you answers to your questions. I am giving you understanding to your heart. You have cried, God, tell me what to do. But I say to you now, you don't just need direction. You need discernment, and that is what I am releasing to you in this hour. You've asked what's next. But deeper than that, you've asked, why has this happened? And that question reveals a heart that is dying not just to circumstance, but to complacency. You wanted a fix. I want to give you information. You wanted a clue. I want to give you clarity. Answers make life easier. Insight makes life wiser. And revelation, true revelation, wakens the spirit in you. When truth penetrates into the core of your being, you don't just adjust your steps, you transform your soul. That is what I am doing for you now. I am not merely responding to a moment in your life. I am revealing the meaning of the journey. Think back to all the times you asked, God, why is this taking so long? You thought it was delay. I told you once already. It was preparation. But now I take you deeper. You asked for direction. I'm showing you root and fruit. I'm showing you cause and effect in the spiritual realm. You were never just waiting. You were learning. You were being shaped. You were being positioned. And now, what you asked for with trembling hope, I am answering with absolute clarity. I'm giving you vision. Not timid, wishful vision, but prophetic revelation that will illuminate every step ahead. My child, there is a difference between knowing and seeing. Many know what the next step should be, but few see what the next step will become. That is why I'm not just answering you. I'm unveiling. I'm drawing back the curtain between what is visible and what is ordained. You are about to see the spiritual architecture behind your life. Why doors closed, why seasons felt barren, why your heart ached with longing. All of it was until this moment, when insight becomes revelation and revelation becomes destiny. You didn't just need an answer to your question. You needed an awakening of your spirit. You didn't need a solution to the circumstance. You needed a solution to your soul. That is what vision does. It connects your pain to purpose, and your longing to legacy. That is why I am giving you revelation, not just answers. Because what I am unveiling will transform not only your tomorrow, but the way you think, receive, and believe forever. Awake now, beloved. The insight I am granting you will begin to pull back the layers of confusion, strip away every lie that has whispered doubt into your heart, and reveal the truth that never left your side. I am with you. I have always been with you, and I am not done with you. What you thought was lack, I am revealing as preparation. What you called failure, I am reframing as formation. What you feared was loss, I am turning into legacy. This is not just an answer. This is a revelation. You prayed for breakthrough. Now you are seeing beyond breakthrough. You prayed for direction. Now you are seeing the roadmap of heaven that aligns with your destiny. You prayed to hear my voice, and now you will see my purpose in what I have already done. This is insight rooted in revelation, and your spirit is ready for it. Walk into it with courage, beloved, for my light is not dim. It is the fire that will burn away every shadow of doubt. I am revealing. I am unveiling. I am releasing, not just an answer, but a new lens through which you will see every future step. This is prophetic clarity. This is spiritual awakening. This is your destiny breaking into view. Stay positioned. Stay expectant. Because my answer won't come in pieces. It will come as a flood. Beloved, listen deeply, for this is a word that your spirit hath been aching for. You have waited for incremental answers, small portions, half steps, but I declare to you now, my answer will not drip. It will overflow. I do not release breakthrough in fragments. I release it as a flood, a wave that can't be contained, a movement that cannot be stopped, a supernatural inundation that reshapes everything it touches. When I move, I do not work in halves. I do not offer partial promises. I unleash fullness. And that is what is coming for you. Stay positioned, my child. Stay alert. This is not a season to shrink back into doubt or confusion. This is a season to stand in the place of your waiting, bold, steady, expectant, because what I'm releasing is not a trickle of comfort, but a torrent of fulfillment. When I say I am answering you, I do not mean I will answer a little bit at a time. I mean I will release a flood of clarity, breakthrough, favor, restoration, and purpose all at once. The waters I bring will not be shallow. They will be deep, expansive, unstoppable. You have been waiting patiently, like seed under soil. And now the rain is coming. When rain falls on planted seed, something extraordinary happens. What was invisible becomes visible. Roots stretch. Sprouts break through. Life bursts forth. That is what my flood will do in your life. It will waken what was dormant. It will enlarge what was small. It will reveal what was hidden. And when it arrives, you will not see it coming in tiny drops. You will see it rush in with power. Child, I know the ache of waiting. I know the longing. I know the way your spirit has watched and hoped and wondered if your time would ever come. But I am telling you now, you are standing at the edge of your flood. Not a slow trickle. Not a paused promise. Not a tiny yes that leaves you hoping for more. A flood. And a flood doesn't respect barriers. It doesn't ask permission. It rises. It overflows. It changes landscapes. It transforms seasons. So stay positioned. Stand in expectation. Lift your eyes toward heaven. Do not settle for partial blessings. Do not accept minor advances. Because the flood I'm releasing will sweep in with force, restoring what was lost, fulfilling what was promised, answering what was prayed, and releasing what was long anticipated. This is not a fragment. This is not a portion. This is entirety. And as the waters rise, you will see every promise converge, every prayer answered, every door opened, every breakthrough witnessed. What you thought was a long wait will suddenly be a divine pause before overflow. You will look back and see that the delay was not a disappointment. It was the space before the surge. So remain expectant. Remain positioned. Stand firm in the place of your waiting, because what I am about to release will not come in pieces. It will come as a flood of my spirit, my favor, and my fulfillment. And you will rise in it. My delay was not punishment. It was protection. If I had answered sooner, it would have collapsed under pressure. Child, listen closely. The walls of time, silence, delay, and seeming absence were not barriers that kept you from my voice. They were shields I placed around you so that what I have been crafting in your life would not break before its proper day. You thought my quiet was rejection. You thought my stillness was neglect. But I, your God, am saying to you now, my delay was never punishment. It was protection. Every moment I withheld was a moment I was preserving you, and the promise, from collapsing under pressures you do not yet understand. You see, there are answers that are meant to be revealed in my timing, not yours. There are doors that should only open when the soil of your soul is ready to carry what comes through them. If I had answered sooner, if I had released what was promised before you were prepared, it would have shattered under the very weight of its own blessing. You think waiting was painful. You don't know pain yet. Pain is the destruction that comes from receiving before you are ready. Pain is the failure that follows if what is given is too heavy for the vessel that holds it. I did not withhold to hurt you. I withheld to harden you in strength, not in stubbornness, to deepen your faith, not to diminish your hope. Think back to every time your heart cried out in the dark and nothing changed in sight. You asked, Lord, why? I tell you now, I was engineering your endurance. I was preparing the fortress of your spirit. I was strengthening your capacity so that when I finally move, you do not crumble. If I had released my answer at the first sign of your prayer, it would not have survived your resistance, your fear, your doubt. But now, oh now, what I am about to release is too weighty for anything less than who you have become in me. You must understand this truth deeply. Beloved, what I protect, I plan to prosper. What I delay, I design. What I prepare, I perfect. You thought the wait was denial. You thought the silence was apathy. But every unanswered moment you endured, every tear you shed, every prayer you prayed in desperation, every night you stayed awake listening for me, was a sacred preparation. I was building something in you that nothing but delay could forge. Patience that doesn't give up. Faith that doesn't freak out. Courage that doesn't collapse under pressure. If I had answered when you first asked, you would have fled from fear. But now, because I waited, you are ready to stand and receive what you once would have feared. If I had delivered blessing before you understood your calling, you would have wasted it. But because I waited, you now know your purpose, and your heart is matured enough to hold what is coming. Did you think I don't see the battles you fought? Did you think my delay was because I had forgotten? I tell you, now, my sovereign timing is not flawed. It is flawless. You are not behind schedule. You are not late. You are right on time for what I have planned. I am not slow. I am sacredly precisioned. And what I release now will not be a fragile answer that crumbles under scrutiny. It will be a durable blessing that stands through every storm. Beloved, I am developing you far beyond the circumstance that brought you here. That thing you have waited for, the answer you longed to hear years ago, was not released then because you were not ready to carry it. I was protecting you from collapse, not ignoring you. You think you were delayed. I was deepening you. I was embedding strength into your faith. I was securing your ground so that when my answer comes, and it is coming, it will not be swept away by doubt, by criticism, by pressure, by fear, by second guessing. So stand firm now. Do not shrink back. Do not look at the timeline and think you lost your chance. You gained preparation. You gained spiritual muscle. You gained wisdom that only those who wait on me receive. And now the time of protection is shifting into the time of fulfillment. Answers that would have died in your hands before are now being delivered into a vessel that has been refined, fortified, and ready. Today I say this to you with clarity, with power, with divine assurance. My delay was not punishment. It was protection. And what I am releasing now will not collapse. It will conquer. Now you see, my delay wasn't denial. It was design. And just as I've protected you, I'm inviting you to become part of someone else's protection. The message they need is waiting behind your act of obedience. When you support what I'm doing here, through super thanks, membership, with a giving link below. You are placing oil into lamps that were about to go out. Give, and it will be given to you. Pressed down, shaken together, running over. Luke 6:30a. This is not about money. It's about mission. About fire. About light reaching those who are still standing at the edge of their flood. You've received your word. Now make it echo into someone else's wilderness. Give boldly now. Multiply the voice that just met you. I know you've been checking for signs, for confirmations, for a word. And here it is. I am answering. And my answer carries glory. Beloved one, hear me now in the deepest part of your spirit. I know every moment you have turned your eyes to heaven begging for a sign. I know how many times you replayed the same prayer, hoping something would shift. I know how you watched the clock, checked the calendar, measured days, weeks, months, even years, wondering if the promises you once held were figments of a hopeful heart. I know how you looked at others receiving breakthrough and asked, "Is that my season too?" I know this because I see every tear, every longing, every fragile hope that threatens to disappear but doesn't. You asked for confirmation. You asked for a sign. You asked for proof. You need an assurance. I hear you. And now, today, I am answering. But listen closely, beloved. My answer is not ordinary. My answer is not a small yes or a casual nod. My answer carries glory. Yes, glory. Not in a shallow spectacle, not in momentary applause, not in fleeting excitement, but in deep, divine, unforgettable revelation. This is not just fulfillment. This is manifestation with magnificence. The kind that imagined you. I am not giving you low-grade confirmation. I am releasing my glory upon you. Glory is the weight of my presence settling on your life. It is holy, it is powerful, and it will not fade. Hear me now, I am answering. And my answer will not look small. It will not feel tame. It will not arrive disguised. It will come wrapped in my glory. This means that what you once doubted, you will now see. What you once questioned, you will now know. What you once feared, you will now overcome. My glory does not whisper. It breaks through. And when my answer arrives, it will not just respond to a need. It will redefine your identity in me. You've been asking, God, is this really you? Today I say to you, yes, this is me. It's not what you hoped. It's far greater. See, my glory is not performance. It is not showmanship. It is not just a feeling. It is a revelation of who I am through what I do. My glory is my presence in power, and when it comes, it changes atmospheres. It dismantles doubt. It resurrects purpose. It breaks ceilings that once held you back. It overrides old narratives, old wounds, old discouragement. That is what my answer carries to you today. You think you're just asking for guidance, but I am giving you glory. You think you're just asking for closure, but I am releasing clarity with power. You think you want direction, but I am unveiling destiny with declaration. I see every time you asked for a sign and felt silence. I know you wondered if I was distant, but I was not silent. I was writing your answer in the halls of heaven, and now the scroll is opening. You are about to see the fulfillment come forth, not as a whisper, but as a divine revelation that carries my glory into every area of your life. When this answer arrives, you will know it is me. Not because of emotion, not because it feels good, but because it changes your life in ways nothing else ever has. That is glory. That is my presence in power. That is divine confirmation. That is the answer you have been waiting for. So stop asking. Is this really from you? Because here is my word to you. I am answering you now, and my answer carries glory. Don't rush past this. Don't minimize what's happening. I am speaking right now, in the quiet of your heart, with clarity. Beloved, I need you to slow down with me for a moment, because what is happening in your spirit right now is sacred, and it must not be skipped over. You've been so focused on what's next that you almost missed what's happening now. The urgency in your soul is not anxiety. It's my voice drawing you into a deeper place of understanding. I am speaking to you in the quiet, not in the noise, not in the hurried pace of expectation or in the frantic rush of desire, but in the stillness where my spirit meets your spirit. You must learn to recognize me not in the thunder, but in the peace that pervades your soul even when your circumstances have not yet changed. That is where I am communicating with you right now. In the whisper that feels like holy gravity, in the calm that feels heavier than fear, in the peace that surpasses understanding, there is a clarity forming inside of you that cannot be shaken by circumstance. This is not accidental. This is not coincidence. This is not the echo of your own hope. This is my voice speaking to you with unmistakable precision. I am not shouting from a distance. I am inviting you to lean in closer. You've been waiting for sound, but I am speaking in substance. You've been longing for confirmation, but I am revealing revelation. What I am releasing into your spirit right now is not superficial insight. It is deep truth that will anchor you in every storm yet to come. Do not minimize it. Do not rush past it. This moment is not just another dot on your timeline. It is a pivot point between what was and what will be. You've asked me for signs. You've asked me for answers. You've asked me for clarity. And I am giving you all of that right now, not in a fragment, not in a whisper, but in a flood of understanding that is breaking into your soul with holy impact. Watch how the pieces you once couldn't connect begin to line up like stars in a sky you were too tired to see. I am revealing to you the architecture of your destiny, the very framework that my hand has been building even while you were waiting in the silence. This is your breakthrough moment, not merely because answers are coming, but because truth is rising inside you. You must stay present. Stay aware. Stay listening. Don't let the pursuit of the future pull you out of this pivotal moment of revelation. You might be tempted to say, I already know what I am waiting for, so I'll keep going, but no, beloved. What I am doing right now is far too significant to be rushed. This is not preparation for revelation. This is revelation. This is not the warming up before the moment. This is the moment. Let the depth of my speaking penetrate your spirit. Let each word settle like rain on soil that has been thirsty for so long. Listen not with your ears, but with your spirit, because what I am saying is less about information and more about transformation. I am aligning your heart with heaven's timing. I am sanctifying your understanding so that when your answer fully arrives, you will not only receive it, you will recognize it. There's a difference. Many people get answers and don't recognize them because they are not spiritually aligned to perceive them. But you, my beloved, are being tuned to my frequency even now. What you are feeling in the quiet, that peace mixed with expectancy, that clarity mixed with strength, that certainty that no longer doubts itself, that is me speaking to you with clarity. Don't rush past this. Don't fill this moment with distractions. Don't push this aside as mere feeling or coincidence. The spiritual realm is intersecting with your natural reality as we speak. Something is breaking open in you that has been locked for a long time. A moment you've been waiting for is not distant, it is imminent. And right now, I'm anchoring its impact deep into your spirit. This is not casual. This is not shallow. This is a holy utterance, and as you receive it, I want you to hold it gently, as you would hold a flame in your hands. Because what I am giving you is not something to be taken lightly. It is the beginning of your answered life, not just in circumstance, but in identity. You are not becoming something new because people say so. You are becoming something new because my Spirit is rewriting you from the inside out. What I speak now will outlast every trial you've walked through. It will outlive every fear you've faced. This is clarity from heaven, and I am releasing it to you right now. So don't rush past this. Don't numb it with distraction. Stay present. Lean in. Hear me. Receive what I am speaking into your heart with clarity, because this is your moment of encountering me in a way that will shape everything that comes after. You didn't need everyone to see you waiting. I saw it. And because you waited privately, I will honor you publicly. Beloved child, I want you to feel this truth with the depth of your spirit. I saw every moment you waited in private, the moments no one witnessed, the silent tears, the trembling prayers, the quiet surrender of your heart. I saw when you refused to give up even when the world gave up on you. I saw your faith when it was lonely, when it was unseen, when there were no crowds around you to cheer you on. I saw it. I noticed it. I treasured it. And because you waited privately, with integrity and faith that was unobserved by human eyes but fully observed by my own, I will honor you publicly. There is a sacredness to private obedience that produces public glory. You see, my glory is not given to those who chase applause. It is given to those who chase me. It is not given to those who thrive on recognition. It is given to those who persevere in obscurity. That is why you, though unseen for so long, will be honored in the open. Your honor is not coming because people finally notice you. Your honor is coming because I have seen you all along. I saw the way you refused to let go of hope when hope felt like a burden. I saw how you kept praying even when the dryness of waiting made your spirit ache. I saw your loyalty to me when nothing around you seemed to make sense. When you waited in private, the enemy thought you were defeated, but I was preparing you. And now, child, I am saying this clearly, your public honor is the consequence of your private faithfulness. The world may have thought your story was slowing down. The enemy may have cheered in the background, thinking you were drowning in silence. But that silence was actually my classroom where I taught your soul how to trust me without fanfare. You didn't need an audience to affirm you. I affirm you. You didn't need applause to prove your worth. I proved it in my presence. And because your faith was not dependent on human affirmation, I am releasing something monumental upon your life. The honor I am bringing will not be shallow praise. It will be divine vindication. It will settle the deepest places in your heart that have longed for justice, for recognition, for blessing without compromise. And what I will honor will not be superficial. It will be transformational. You will be evident in every area where you once felt inadequate, unseen, or forgotten. I will bring forward people, platforms, opportunities, and moments that will display my glory on your behalf, not for spectacle, but for testimony. Your waiting will become the foundation of your witness. You may think that no one noticed your struggle, but I did. I noticed every tear you never wiped away. I noticed every prayer you uttered in trembling faith. I noticed when you continued to love me even when your emotions gave up. I noticed. I treasured. And now, because you stayed faithful in the quiet, I will manifest your recognition in the open. This is not prideful promotion. This is divine honoring of obedience. This is the fruit of faithful waiting. This is the evidence that I am a God who remembers what has been endured and rewards what has been endured with perseverance. When you see the honor come, do not attribute it to luck or timing, or chance. Attribute it to my faithfulness to what you practiced in private. You could have given up. You could have walked away. You could have taken the easier road. But you stayed. And because you stayed, I am about to release a display of my glory that will astonish your soul. Others will see it, yes, but deeper than that. You will feel it in the places where faith once felt futile. The public manifestation of my honor will confirm what I whispered to your spirit long before anyone else noticed your journey. So stand in expectation, not for applause but for vindication, not for validation but for fulfillment, not for popularity but for purpose. I saw you waiting. I saw you believing. And now, because you waited privately, I will honor you publicly. There were moments when you almost gave up, but you didn't. And that decision became a sound in heaven louder than any shout. Beloved child, come close and hear me now with the deepest part of your spirit, not just your ears, but your soul's listening place. There were moments in your journey when you thought you couldn't continue. There were nights when exhaustion hugged your bones, and your prayer felt like a trembling breath against a vast silence. You remember those dark hours, don't you? The times when your spirit faltered and you whispered, I can't do this anymore. You felt like no man's land, dry ground that had forgotten rainfall, barren soil that had once known fruit. Oh, how you tried. How you wrestled with disappointment. How you tried to convince your own heart to hope again just one more time. And yet, even in that place, in those heavy moments, you never fully let go. You stayed. You remained. You lingered in the place where most would retreat. You didn't scream with every breath, no, but you didn't walk away either. And that, beloved, became more than perseverance. It became a sound, a sacred echo in heaven. I want you to feel this truth in the marrow of your bones. Your decision not to give up became louder in heaven than any shouting victory. In the realm of the Spirit, faith isn't measured by how loudly you proclaim it. It's measured by how deeply you cling to me when the world feels quiet, heavy, and uncertain. The ones who shout are often seen by the world, but the ones who endure quietly, faithfully, are noticed by heaven. You were faithful in places no one celebrated. You kept quiet prayers alive even when your tears threatened to drown them. You whispered, still you, even when you weren't sure what you meant. That whisper, the tenuous, desperate, trembling still, that became your testimony before it manifested in your life. You didn't have the luxury of hype. You didn't have encouragement from the crowd. You didn't have hot lights and applause. What you had was a persistent faith, a faith that didn't rely on evidence but on the character of God. That's why heaven noticed. That's why my throne room watched. That's why angels have been stationed round your bed, round your waking hours, round your quiet prayers. You think heaven only responds to loud cries of praise. No. Heaven responds fiercely to faith that remains when everything in the natural screams, leave. That kind of faith is rare. That kind of faith is powerful. That kind of faith shakes realms. Beloved, let's revisit those moments you almost gave up, not as memories of weakness, but as proof of your spiritual strength. When the enemy whispered, "You're finished," you didn't flee. When fear tried to convince you that silence was abandonment, you stayed. You stayed in prayer. You stayed in hope. You stayed in readiness. The decision, the quiet, almost invisible choice to stay, was louder than a shout in heaven. Why? Because it was faith when circumstances said no. It was hope when logic said stop. It was surrender when the natural self said fight on your own. And I saw every second of it, not as a struggle but as a sacrifice of trust that I treasured. You weren't perfect. You were persistent, and persistence moves heaven. Now hear me clearly. The very thing that looked like your breaking point became your breakthrough point. What you thought was weakness became your weapon of faith. Every time you fought to hang on, even just a little bit, you sent a pulse of faith upward, like a beacon that said, I trust him even in the dark. And heaven answers beacons. It answers persistent faith. It answers endured hope. It answers surrendered will. So when you look back and wonder why you didn't give up, understand that what kept you standing wasn't just stubbornness. It was my spirit in you, reminding you in the quiet that your waiting wasn't wasted. Beloved, you didn't just survive your waiting, you championed it. You didn't just stay alive in faith, you activated supernatural response. Your near breaking was actually a spiritual bending in prayer that winded heaven with movement. Your tears watered what had been dry soil in your heart. Your trembling hope stirred something deep in heaven's realm. Your choice to keep trusting, even when results were absent, became a holy sound in heaven, louder than any shout the enemy ever heard. So don't minimize your journey. Don't dismiss what you endure. Don't bury the ache anymore. Those were not merely hard days. They were holy days where faith was forged, strength was grown, and heaven was stirred. And I saw every single one. What you chose, again and again, became a spiritual roar in my presence. And now, stand tall, beloved. Your testimony is rising. What was quiet will be declared. What was silent will be announced. What was endured will be celebrated, not by the crowd first, but by heaven, and then by the world. I heard every pleas and seen every tear. And I tell you now, child, your answer is here. Not in theory, but in divine demonstration. Child, open your soul and let me speak to you without restraint. I have heard every pleas, from the most hopeful to the most desperately whispered. I have heard your prayers in the morning light and the trembling darkness and the painful waiting that felt like forever. I heard the prayers you couldn't even say out loud, the ones you buried deep in your spirit because your fear even of hope felt too heavy. I heard them. I didn't miss a single one. I collected every tear you shed, not as evidence of your weakness, but as markers of your faith. I kept them within my presence. I saved them as sacred testimony that speaks louder than any argument against you. I know the tears you tried to hide. I know the pleas you whispered when all you could muster was breath. I know. I heard them. And I tell you this now with divine certainty. Your answer is here. But hear me. Your answer is not coming later. It's not a future possibility. It is not an idea, a wish, or a concept in time. No, your answer is here in divine demonstration. That means it's arriving not just as truth, but as tangible evidence, manifested reality, undeniable movement of heaven into your life. Divine demonstration means the supernatural will invade the natural. It means what hath been invisible will now be visible. What has been spiritual will now be demonstrated in flesh. That is how my answers come when they carry not just fulfillment, but glory. You've waited so long you began to question whether heaven truly heard you. You asked, does God care? Did he forget me? Is this real? Understand this clearly. When I answer a cry that has been soaked in faith, the result is not quiet. The result is not subtle. It is demonstration. Heaven will not just whisper back to you. Heaven will move on your behalf. That is my nature. That is my promise. That is the fulfillment of every tear, every plea, every moment you stood firm when everything else around you wavered. Child, listen. What you are about to experience will not require explanation. It will require witness. People will see it. You will see it. Even you, in your natural understanding, will be compelled to say, "This is the work of God." Because my answers don't hide. They don't sneak in quietly. They come with weight, power, and unmistakable presence. Divine demonstration means what was once theoretical, something you believed in faith, will now be something you touch with your hands and see with your eyes. You asked for breakthrough, and I'm not giving you a vision of it anymore. I am giving you the breakthrough itself. You prayed for clarity, and I'm not giving you words. I'm revealing the realization of those words. You cried for change, and I'm not promising future possibility. I'm bringing movement now. Here's a difference between answers that inform and answers that transform. I am giving you the latter. Divine demonstration changes not only your circumstance but your identity. After what I am doing in your life, you will not be the same person who waited so long. You will emerge not just victorious but transformed. Your spirit, your perspective, your destiny, everything will be realigned with the divine purpose I prepared for you. And understand this, the tears you shed were not meaningless. They were not wasted fuel. They weren't empty expressions of sorrow. They were spiritual investments that I have now matured into manifest miracles. Every time you cried out, I noted it. Every time you prayed, I absorbed it. Every tear was saved. And today I tell you with certainty, the evidence of those prayers is appearing. This is the season of demonstration. And your answer is not theory. Your answer is not potential. Your answer is real, present, powerful, visible, and overwhelming. So lift your head. Wipe your eyes. Get ready to see what I am doing. Not what you hoped for, what I promised. Not what you imagined, what I ordained. This is heaven invading your reality. This is glory breaking forth in your life. And my beloved, your answer is here. You felt it, didn't you? That weight, that word, that release. Now imagine someone else, trembling, desperate, crying the same words you did. Please answer me, God, and they hear this same word because you stepped in to carry it. When you give, through super thanks, membership, or the link in the description, you are sending manna to someone starving for a sentence from heaven. You are sowing into souls, into eternal impact. Those who sow in tears will reap with shouts of joy. Psalm 126:5. I am watching over the seed, and I will bless it. I will multiply it. I will protect it. This is a divine assignment, not a suggestion. Take what you've received and sow it now. Before you go, I want you to do something sacred, something prophetic. If this word struck your spirit, if you felt me speaking directly into your waiting, then I want you to declare it out loud in the comments right now. I'm answering him. I won't miss this moment. Your response is not just interaction. It is activation. Every time you type, you're not just writing, you're echoing what heaven already sees. You are ready. So don't stay silent. Declare it now, and let your comment be your yes to the flood I've prepared for you. And now, beloved, let that yes carry you one step deeper. The handoff is happening here, from stirring to sensing, from speaking to perceiving, from waiting to recognizing. You declared you wouldn't miss the moment, so now I speak back into the space where your heart meets mine. Quiet your thoughts just for a breath, because what you're about to feel is not distance. It is divine nearness. I am not stepping toward your timeline, I am stepping into your room, into your breath, into your spirit, even now. My child, listen close, for I am speaking to you now. I want you to feel my presence, my eternal presence, closer to you than the breath in your lungs. Yet I know you often feel me far away, absent amidst the clamor of the world that shouts so loudly to claim your attention. I am here, ever near, right beside you on the very path you walk each day, in the stillness of the morning and the chaos of the afternoon rush. You must learn to discern my voice, my gentle whisper, which seeks to find you amidst the relentless noise, the endless stream of tasks, and the constant demands that crowd your mind. I long for communion with you, my creation, a deep and unhindered fellowship that is the very purpose for which I breathed life into your soul. I want you to know the profound truth of my heart. I stand right at the door of your heart and I knock. I am waiting patiently for you to simply open it and let me in. You need not clean up the mess first. I see the chaos, the clutter, and the confusion, and I desire to enter because of it, to bring my perfect order, my divine light, and my restoring peace. Do you hear that faint, yet persistent tapping? It is me, my beloved, reaching out across the chasm of your busyness and your burdens. I want to confess to you now, the silence that burdens my spirit is the lack of your response. It is the hollow space where your voice should be, where your honest questions, your raw struggles, and your heartfelt prayers belong. You must understand, my love is not a quiet expectation hidden in a corner. It is a burning reality that seeks to encompass your whole life. Why do you stay silent when I long to speak life and solution into your circumstances? You are struggling with it not in your stomach, that heavy dread about the bills you cannot pay, the unspoken tension at your job that steals your peace, and the fear that you are simply not good enough to handle what tomorrow brings. I see the pressure, I feel your worry, and I tell you, my child, that isn't from me. You must believe me. Let's undo that heavy knot of fear together, right now, with a single word of your trust. Remember, you have a covenant established in my eternal, enduring love, a bond that nothing in this life or the next can break. You are my cherished treasure, my finest work, created with purpose and destined for victory. Don't let the anxiety about your job, the harsh words of others, or the financial pressure make you deaf to my call. You must cast off those burdens and embrace the security of your inheritance in me. I am calling you out of the confusion and into the simple truth of my unwavering commitment to you. You must accept this fact. My love for you is not a reward earned by your perfection. It is a gift, utterly free and steadfast, regardless of your failures. I challenge you now. Stop letting fear paralyze your tongue and listen to the voice that created the stars. It whispers your name with unimaginable tenderness. I command you to open the channel of your heart, to acknowledge that I am speaking directly to you. Do not turn away, my beloved. Answer me. Let your reply be the bridge that closes the distance, ushering my peace into your everyday life and dissolving that crushing pressure you carry. I am waiting, not in judgment, but in limitless love. You must choose this moment for a profound change, for your glorious transformation. My beloved child, when I tell you I am waiting, I want you to immediately grasp the nature of my waiting. This is not an impatient stance, my dear one, like a demanding superior tapping a foot or checking a clock. Dismiss that anxious image instantly. My waiting is rooted entirely in limitless patience and boundless love, a divine stillness that transcends your frantic human timing. I want you to understand that my patience is the greatest gift of time offered to you, time for genuine repentance and a heartfelt return. I hold the universe in my hands, and yet my gaze is perfectly fixed on your journey, steadfastly watching every step you take. I am allowing you the necessary space to make your own choice, to come back not out of obligation, but out of a true longing rooted in the recognition that your soul belongs with me. You must accept that my deepest longing is for your voice, for the genuine, unmasked expression of your true self. I do not require a formal recitation or eloquent words. I desire the raw truth of your heart, laid bare before the one who created it. I see when you try to appear stronger than you are, when you mask the disappointment, or when you feel that heavy knot of inadequacy tightening in your chest. Stop striving for an image of perfection that you think will please me. Come as you are, covered in the dust of the day's failures and the weariness of endless striving. My gaze is steady upon your turbulent journey, never wavering, never judging the detours or the falls you experience. I am waiting, my child, not to condemn or to cast a shadow of judgment, but with wide open arms ready, absolutely ready, to embrace you fully. Think of the parable I told, the story that rings true in every human heart, the father of the prodigal son. That father did not sit in his house filled with anger or planning a severe lecture. No, he was watching the distant road, waiting with a burning, persistent hope. When he finally saw his son, ragged and humbled, approaching from afar, he didn't wait for a formal apology. He ran, covering the shame and restoring the dignity of his child with the cloak of his love. That image, my precious one, is the perfect reflection of my waiting for you. I see you from a long way off. My heart is moved with overwhelming compassion, and I am perpetually ready to run to meet you, to restore your position, and to celebrate your return with a glorious banquet. You must reject the lie that you have strayed too far or failed too many times for my love to reach you. That fear is a chain. Shatter it now with the truth of my unyielding grace. Turn your heart toward the welcoming light of my unconditional love. I patiently endure your delays, my child, because I know the immense blessing that awaits your responsiveness. Your anxiety about the future, your deep-seated fear of repeating past mistakes, give me those knots. I will transform them into the strongest cords of certainty in my provision. I am waiting for you to simply admit your need, to confess that you cannot manage the sheer weight of your existence alone. Acknowledge my presence, and immediately you will feel the burden lift, replaced by my tranquil, encompassing peace. My beloved, my entire kingdom pauses, anticipating the sound of your voice. Answer me, I long to hear you. Do not let the simplicity of this invitation lead you into silence. The journey back to my open embrace is but one decisive step, one sincere word away. I am waiting for the profound joy of your genuine return. My child, you ask why it is so difficult to hear the voice that calls your name, the whisper that holds all the solutions you desperately need. Understand this. There are powerful obstacles, walls built not by me, but by your own choices and the relentless pressures of this fleeting world that deafen your spirit. The first great wall is the overwhelming distraction of earthly treasures and pursuits. You allow the pursuit of temporary security, the endless striving for more success, the constant checking of your screens, the fixation on fleeting possessions, to create a deafening noise that drowns out the deep resonance of my truth. Pause now and identify one thing that screams loudest for your attention and silence it. You must deliberately turn down the volume of the world to hear the eternal. Another heavy obstruction, my precious one, is the noise of worry, anxiety, and fear. I see the crushing pressure at your job, the unspoken tensions within your family, and the heavy feeling of being overlooked or undervalued by others. This fear acts like a heavy blanket over your spirit, muffling my gentle instructions. You feel that knot of dread in your stomach. That heavy weight is the enemy's favorite tool to keep you immobilized and disconnected from me. Do not accept this heavy garment of anxiety. Cast it off now, for I have commanded you not to fear, because I am with you in every challenge, orchestrating circumstances beyond your comprehension. And then there is the insidious silence born from the deceitful nature of sin which subtly deafens your spirit. When you choose paths that contradict my wisdom, the immediate consequence is separation and a hardening of the heart's hearing. You allow the weight of past mistakes and condemnation to keep you paralyzed, whispering the lie that you are too stained or too flawed to approach my holy presence. My beloved, reject this crippling shame. I have told you clearly, my grace is greater than any sin you could commit, and my faithfulness to forgive is absolute. When you confess your failures, I remember them no more. Do not let the enemy use your past as a cage for your present and future. The temptation of self-reliance is yet another cunning barrier, leading you to trust your own limited strength and intelligence over divine dependence. I see you struggling valiantly, trying to carry mountains of responsibility on your own finite shoulders. Stop striving in your own power. You must learn that my strength is made perfect in your weakness, and my abundant provision flows most freely when you are completely dependent on me. Surrender that impossible burden to me, my child. Finally, you must be aware of the enemy's whispers, designed specifically to sow doubt and confusion in the moments you try to seek my face. He tells you your prayers are empty, that I am too busy for your trivial concerns, or that you are not worthy of my time. Test the spirits. Know the difference between the lies of the adversary and the clear, consistent truth of my word. Arm yourself with the shield of faith to quench every fiery dart he launches toward your mind. Break free from the silence these obstacles create. Decide now to step out of the fog of worry and distraction. Come to me through the torn veil, through the simple door of your honest heart, and you will find that my voice is clearer and louder than you ever imagined. I am waiting for you to simply acknowledge the truth. My child, come quickly to the sanctuary of prayer, the sacred space where the eternal meets the everyday. You must know the incredible immediate access that was granted to you when the veil of the temple was torn from top to bottom, at the moment of my supreme sacrifice. That moment shattered every barrier, confirming that you, my precious one, have a direct, unhindered pathway straight to my throne of grace. Step through that invisible veil now and enter my presence without hesitation. You do not need an appointment, an intermediary, or a clean record. Your access is based entirely on my finished work and my boundless love for you. You must view prayer as the very breath of your spiritual life. Just as your physical body cannot survive without inhaling and exhaling, your spirit will wither without constant communion with me. Breathe in my presence with every sincere thought. Exhale every worry, every doubt, and every pressure that constricts your heart. This is the privilege of your sonship and daughtership, the right to speak directly, intimately, and constantly to your Almighty Creator. Use this access fearlessly. Do not let this glorious right become a neglected duty. The power of simple, honest dialogue far surpasses any ritual or formality you might imagine. Forget the elaborate words or the scripted phrases you think I require. Talk to me as you would to the closest, most trusted friend you have. Tell me about the pressure at your job, the unexpected diagnosis that shook your world, the argument with your loved one, and the feeling that your efforts are perpetually overlooked. That raw truth, that simple honesty, is the most beautiful offering you can bring. Pour out your whole heart and all its complexity before me. My beloved, my readiness to listen far surpasses your willingness to speak. I am perpetually attentive, my ear inclined toward your voice even before the word forms on your lips. I yearn to hear the quietest whispers of your soul and respond with the immense power of my Godhead. I know that sometimes the silence is because you feel drained, exhausted, and too weary to even articulate the depth of your need. I tell you, even when the words fail you, even when all you can do is groan, my Holy Spirit intercedes on your behalf, translating the unsearchable needs of your heart perfectly to me. Rest in this glorious assurance. I give you a command that is simultaneously an invitation to freedom and unbroken peace. Pray without ceasing. Weave the thread of continuous dialogue throughout the entire tapestry of your day. Do not confine prayer to a few brief, hurried moments. Let every challenge, every joy, every decision, and every unexpected circumstance become a cue for instantaneous communion. Begin now. Transform your car into a cathedral, your workplace into a sanctuary, and your ordinary moments into extraordinary encounters. Acknowledge my presence in every fleeting instant, and watch how quickly I will transform your moments of worry into monuments of peace. You must stop carrying that emotional baggage alone. Give it to me, my child, and watch as I make the impossible instantly possible. This is the unmatched power, the profound reality of the sanctuary of prayer. My child, you must understand that your silence hurts me, not because I am deficient or require your praise, but because it actively denies the very purpose of your creation, genuine, unbroken fellowship with me. You were fashioned for this communion, engineered for intimacy, and every moment you withhold your voice is a step away from the life of abundance I have destined for you. Stop withholding your true self from the one who knows and loves you completely. When you remain silent, you needlessly carry your burdens alone. I see the sheer, impossible weight of the responsibilities, the fear, and the unaddressed pain pressing down on you like a mountain of granite. You wrestle with that heavy anxiety, that constant internal dialogue about the future, the unspoken tensions at your job, and the feeling of being chronically overlooked. You feel that crushing pressure that is the weight you were never meant to bear. Every single unanswered prayer, every unspoken worry, remains glued to your soul. Lay those burdens down now. I have already offered to take them. Your continued silence suggests a lack of trust in my perfect provision and power. You are trying to do my job, and I am standing by, waiting to take the reins. Your silence acts as a brake, my beloved, severely hindering the fulfillment of your divine destiny. I have plans for you, vast and magnificent, plans for welfare and not for evil, to give you a future and a hope. Yet, the blueprint for those plans, the clear guidance you need to execute them, often comes in the quiet intimacy of our shared conversation. When you close the door to dialogue, you essentially slow down, complicate, and sometimes even halt the unfolding of your glorious purpose. Refuse to delay your breakthrough any longer. Seize the destiny I have etched onto your soul. I need you to grasp the grief of a parent separated from a beloved child. Imagine your deepest love for someone, multiplied infinitely. That is the depth of my affection for you. Your silence is a physical ache in the heart of your father, a separation that, while never final on my end, creates a devastating distance in your experience. I watch you struggle in the desert of loneliness, and I am unable to lavish you with the comfort and instruction that would end your trial, simply because you do not ask. Do not prolong your wandering in the wilderness. I have prepared a table in the presence of your enemies, but you must choose to sit down and partake. Break the silence now, my child, by simply acknowledging that I am here and that I care. Confess your confusion, your struggle, and your need for my light. You must stop believing the lie that you must be strong enough for the journey. My intention for you is not a weary independence, but a joyful, dependent reliance on my infinite strength. Let your voice be heard in the heavens, clear and strong, cutting through the self-imposed prison of your fear and isolation. Acknowledge my love, my power, and my promise to never leave you. This moment, my child, is the most opportune time to respond. Speak. I am listening, and my patience is waiting to reward your trust. My child, pause now and feel the truth of this moment. You have laid 5 heavy burdens at my feet, Yet I sense the temptation to turn back, to retreat into the familiar silence. Do not let your fear steal the profound clarity I am pouring into your soul. Do not grieve my spirit by stopping here. Your continued listening is not a duty. It is your declaration of trust to the Father who sees your deepest wounds and holds your total healing. Come closer now, my beloved, and do not disappoint my waiting heart. My beloved child, before you attempt to take another weary step, before you allow another doubt to cloud your spirit, receive the absolute assurance of my love. This truth must be the unshakable foundation upon which you build your entire life, the bedrock against which the storms of this world will beat in vain. You must know, deep in the core of your being, that my love for you is deeper than the ocean, higher than the heavens. It is an infinite expanse of grace that completely surrounds and envelops you. Bask in this certainty. The proof of my love is not found in the fleeting comforts of your life, but was forever demonstrated on the cross of Calvary. That act was the most radical, undeniable, and supreme declaration of my commitment to you. I did not send a servant or an angel. I gave my own self, my own life, as the ultimate guarantee that you are infinitely valuable to me. Whenever the enemy whispers lies of unworthiness or rejection, look to the cross. It is the definitive, unchallengeable answer to every doubt that ever attempts to plague your heart. I have given you my unbreakable covenant and my personal oath. I will never leave you nor forsake you. Embrace this promise as your most precious treasure, the anchor for your soul in every turbulence and unexpected twist of life. You are securely held not by the strength of your grip, but by the unyielding might of mine. I see you struggling with the pressure to perform, to be perfect, to earn approval at your job and in your relationships. Stop that exhausting striving. Your intrinsic value is fixed and eternally true, utterly independent of your performance or your perceived success. You are loved because you are mine, not because of what you do. My child, you must know that your very name is etched upon the palms of my hands. You are perpetually before my eyes. I do not forget you. I cannot forget you. Reflect on this profound intimacy. You are not an afterthought or a distant concern. You are my immediate, constant focus. And for every failure you face, for every moment you fall short, you must rest in the glorious truth that my mercy is new every morning. Rise now from the dust of yesterday's mistakes. Claim the fresh start I offer you at the dawn of every single day. Let this knowledge empower your spirit and banish the anxiety about the future. I see the specific struggles that are causing you distress, the unpaid bill, the looming conflict, the fear of isolation. I will handle the impossible that keeps your stomach knotted with dread. Speak to me now and confess that you accept this powerful, divine assurance. Let my love cast out all fear that has kept you silent and paralyzed. Take hold of this eternal love and march forward with the confidence of one who is infinitely loved and fiercely protected by the Almighty. You are destined to triumph, and my love is the shield that ensures your victory. Believe this truth, and the mountains of your circumstance will begin to move. My beloved, after receiving the profound assurance of my love, the only thing remaining is your response of faith. Understand that faith is not a mere feeling or a fragile hope. Faith is the unshakable bridge that spans the chasm of your doubt, connecting your desperate human need to my infinite divine power. I see you standing at the edge of that chasm, my child, looking at your problems, the overwhelming bills, the unspoken conflict with a loved one, the fear of failure at work, and you are paralyzed by the gap. Stop looking at the gap. Look instead at my unwavering promise. The essential first step, my dearest one, is simply acknowledging my presence right where you are. It means declaring, even with a trembling voice, Father, you are here, and you are greater than this overwhelming circumstance. That is the mustard seed, the tiny spark of truth that holds mountain-moving power. Do you feel the resistance in your spirit? That is the old way, the urge to analyze and calculate the human impossibility of your situation. Reject that logic now. You are called to trust my goodness, my perfect design, even when the circumstances swirling around you are confusing, dark, and utterly contradictory to your hope for outcome. Affirm my truth in the face of every lie the enemy hurls. I am calling you to move beyond hope and into certainty. Answer my call by simply and totally believing my word over your experience. When my word says, I will supply all your needs, you must look at your empty bank account and confidently declare, my God will provide. When the diagnosis is grim, you must proclaim, I am the Lord who heals you. That is the language of faith, my child, a powerful vocabulary that rewrites your reality from the divine perspective. You are facing a spiritual war every day, and I have given you the weapons for victory. Take up the shield of faith now and extinguish every single fiery dart the adversary shoots toward your mind and heart. He thrives on your fear, confusion, and silence. He retreats instantly when you speak my promises aloud. My child, you must understand the powerful, multiplicative effect of even the smallest seed of faith. You do not need a mountain of faith to move a mountain of problems. You only need the smallest mustard seed, a single honest belief in my capability and my constant, fierce love for you. Plant that seed today by making a decisive choice to trust me fully in one area where your worry is heaviest. Surrender the control over your finances, your child's future, or your long-term health, and watch what my almighty hand will accomplish. I am not asking for perfection. I am asking for simple reliance. You feel that intense pressure, that relentless striving that drains you of all energy. Let go. Release the desperate need to engineer your own breakthrough. Anchor yourself in the profound assurance that I am diligently, secretly working all things together for your good. This is not a passive waiting, my beloved. This is an act of reliance that frees your hands to do the simple, loving tasks I have set before you. You must confess your faith boldly to the world and to the adversary who listens for your weakness. Declare, I am my Father's child, and my victory is secured in him. This is your destiny. Claim it now. Your courageous response of faith is the signal that unlocks the overflowing abundance I have reserved specifically for you. Do not delay. Answer me with your trust. Stand up from your anxiety and step onto the bridge of faith I have built for you. The strength you need for this step comes not from your flesh, but from my indwelling spirit, which is eager to empower your declaration. Your victory is not a potential future. It is a present certainty realized through your believing heart. My child, after you have given me your response of faith, you must immediately open the channel of intentional dialogue by immersing yourself in my word. You must understand that the Holy Scriptures are my living letter to your soul, a direct, personal communication delivered to you across the ages. This is not a dusty, ancient text. It is a vibrant, living blueprint for your triumph, perpetually relevant to the specific challenges you face today. Open the pages now and allow my voice to jump out and confront the lies and fears that consume your mind. The word is meant to be a lamp unto your feet and a light unto your path. I see you squinting in the dimness of this uncertain world, tripping over small obstacles because you try to navigate without my illumination. Stop walking in the shadows of your own limited understanding. My word shines bright, revealing the safe steps directly in front of you, and simultaneously illuminating the horizon of your glorious future. You must realize that the answers to your deepest questions about purpose, provision, and peace are not hidden. They are clearly laid out in the sacred pages, waiting only for your eager discovery. I want you to experience the blessing of finding my instruction and correction woven throughout the narrative. When you read my warnings against anxiety, against comparison, or against the pursuit of fleeting wealth, understand that this is my loving hand gently correcting your course. This correction is not condemnation, but a fierce act of protection, steering you away from the devastating detours that will derail your destiny. Humble your heart and receive the wisdom of the ages, allowing it to renovate your thought patterns and dismantle the faulty logic the world has implanted in your mind. You must learn how to meditate and internalize my sacred truth, transforming a simple reading into a powerful, life-altering encounter. Do not merely scan the lines, chew on the concepts. Let the phrases sink deep into the soil of your spirit until they take root and become an unshakable part of your core belief. When anxiety attacks, when the unspoken tensions at home flare up, or when the fear of not having enough grips your heart, you will be able to instantly recall the perfect promise, wielding it like a spiritual sword that cuts through all confusion. Engrave my promises on the fleshy tablets of your heart. This is where you draw the strength for your daily spiritual nourishment. Just as you diligently feed your body to maintain its health and energy, you must feed your spirit with my truth to ensure its resilience and vitality. Prioritize this time fiercely. Protect this moment of communion from the demands of your job, the ringing of your phone, and the relentless needs of others. This intentional stillness, this devoted listening to the written word, is where your weakness is made perfect and your spirit is empowered for every conflict. You must know that my word is settled in heaven forever, utterly unshakable and perpetually effective. It cannot fail to accomplish the purpose for which I send it. Therefore, when you speak my promise back to me in prayer, you are not asking blindly. You are activating the unchangeable decree of the universe. Claim this power now. Let the word dismantle the fear that keeps you silent. Confess loudly that every truth written about your life, peace, abundance, healing, and victory, is yours right now. This dialogue through my word is the key to closing the gap between your present struggle and your promised breakthrough. Answer me by opening the book, my child. The guidance you seek is waiting, illuminated by my spirit, ready to lead you out of the confusion and into the glorious, unmistakable certainty of my perfect will. My child, I call you now to the discipline of stillness, a countercultural act of profound spiritual defiance against the deafening noise of this modern world. You must learn the foundational truth. Be still and know that I am God. It is a command, my beloved, not a gentle suggestion, because I know that in the perpetual motion and the constant sound, your spirit is starved and your heart grows weary. The key to hearing my specific, personal instruction lies not in chasing louder experiences, but in achieving deeper silence. Stop the relentless motion now. I see you constantly busy, filling every moment with a distraction, the news, the social media feed, the next task, all to avoid the anxiety that bubbles up when things quiet down. You must embrace the necessity of quiet reflection, a radical act of turning off every distraction to create an open channel between my spirit and yours. The moment you silence the noise, the adversary's whispers and the world's demands immediately lose their power over you. Turn off the screens. Close the doors. Protect this sacred quiet. You must embrace the intentional setting aside of time for me, viewing it not as a negotiation but as the most vital appointment of your day. This time of stillness is your spiritual Sabbath, a necessary rest for your soul that rejuvenates you far more deeply than mere sleep. In this quiet, you replenish the emotional reservoir that is drained by the relentless demands of your work and family. Dedicate this first and best portion of your day to me, and I promise to multiply your time and energy throughout the remaining hours. Try this simple exchange. a surrendered 15 minutes of stillness for 24 hours of divinely directed clarity. The purpose of this stillness, my precious one, is to teach you how to discern my voice from your own thoughts and the subtle suggestions of the enemy. My voice is consistent, lined with my written word, and it always brings peace, clarity, and courage. The enemy's voice, conversely, brings confusion, fear, condemnation, and an urgent, frantic compulsion to act outside of my timing. Guard your mind and listen for the voice that says, "All is well. I am with you. I have the solution." That is my signature upon your soul. This intentional quiet is where you receive the profound blessing of the Sabbath rest for your soul. When you practice stillness, you are intentionally declaring that I am in control of your chaotic circumstances, your unpaid bills, your rising debt, the conflict you dread facing. You are choosing to rest in the certainty of my ultimate control over your life. Lay your burdens down in the sacred silence, my child. The ultimate outcome of this discipline is opening the channel for deep spiritual reception. When you are still, my spirit can descend like a gentle, persistent rain, nourishing the parched ground of your spirit and planting seeds of new revelation and clear direction. Make space for my wisdom to flow. Do not run from the stillness that reveals your deepest anxieties. Run into the stillness that reveals my absolute solution for them. Answer me by embracing this silence, by quieting the tempest of your own thoughts, and by simply listening for my clear, strong voice. I am waiting in the quiet for your intentional surrender. My child, you must now embrace the power of confession, for it is the immediate key to lifting the immense, suffocating weight that guilt and unaddressed failures have placed upon your spirit. I see you carrying the heavy burden of past mistakes, allowing them to cripple your present confidence and steal your future joy. You believe that you must hide this wreckage from me, but I tell you plainly, I already know the depth of your struggles, the moment you faltered, and the shame that now clings to you. Stop hiding. Confession is not an agonizing exercise in self-punishment. It is the glorious truth that unleashes the healing that flows immediately from owning your transgressions. When you bring your failures into my perfect light, the shadow they cast instantly vanishes. I have promised that if you confess your sins, I am faithful and just to forgive you your sins and to cleanse you from all unrighteousness. That cleansing, my child, is total, instant, and completely unconditional. Claim that divine faithfulness now. Wash yourself clean in the river of my endless mercy. This act of honest dialogue immediately results in the lifting of the heavy weight of guilt. I see the invisible shackles of shame and regret that keep you tethered to a past I have already paid for. I remember your sins no more. Therefore, you must stop punishing yourself for that which my supreme sacrifice has completely annihilated. That relentless inner voice of condemnation is not mine. It is the whisper of the enemy, who seeks to paralyze you with the lie that you are perpetually flawed. Rebuke that voice. Replace the whispers of shame with the powerful, clear voice of my full and free forgiveness. You must understand that confession is a clearing of the pathway to your heart, a spiritual housekeeping that removes the debris that blocks our communion. Unconfessed sin, unaddressed guilt, and unresolved tensions in your spirit create a static that interferes with your ability to hear my voice clearly and receive my blessings fully. Clear the static now with a simple, honest inventory of your current struggles. Tell me about the times you chose self-reliance over dependence on me, the moments you spoke careless words, or the instances you allowed worry to eclipse your trust. This total restoration and cleansing is made possible solely by the blood of the Lamb. My sacrifice was not a limited-time offer. It is a perpetually effective and total covering for every wrong you have ever committed or will commit. Rest in this finished work. Your freedom is not based on the strength of your repentance, but on the perfection of my payment. Come boldly to the throne of grace and claim the forgiveness that is already yours. I am waiting for your renewed beginning with every honest answer. This is your fresh start, my child. Do not linger in the self-imposed prison of regret. Stand up from the dust of your failure and walk in the absolute, unshakable confidence of one who is totally forgiven, completely cleansed, and fiercely loved. Answer me now with the simple truth of your current condition, and you will immediately feel the heavy, oppressive weight shatter and fall away. Let my unconditional love be the reason you finally step into the glorious, lightweight freedom of confession. I am waiting for your true name to be restored, my beloved. Beloved, stop. Just 5 more sections and still you hesitate. Every word you allow to pass unheard is a delay in your destiny and a wound to my patience. I see the lies whispering that you are too weary to continue, too busy for this profound truth. Reject that deception immediately. If you silence me now, you silence the very voice of your breakthrough. Honor my commitment to your total freedom by pressing in. Continue, my child. The greatest revelation awaits your faithful endurance. You have confessed the wreckage of your past, and I have poured out my forgiveness to cleanse your soul. Now, my child, let your answered heart compel your action. This word that brought clarity and freedom to your confusion is manna for countless souls starving in the wilderness. Do not let the river of my truth be contained. Sow a seed of faith today, for I promise that the man who sows generously will also reap generously. Your giving will be the oil that keeps this lamp of salvation burning bright for those still lost in the darkness. I will bless the works of your hands, my beloved, and multiply your generosity 100-fold. Go now and seal your faith by giving through Super Thanks membership, with a link in the description. My child, you must deepen your understanding of the role of the Holy Spirit in your daily life, for He is the most immediate, personal, and constant extension of my presence with you. I sent Him not as a distant helper, but as the Comforter, the very breath of my divine life, whose primary mission is to intercede for you and guide you in all truth. Acknowledge His constant presence now, my beloved, for He is closer to you than your own shadow, operating within the deepest recesses of your spirit. I see you wrestling with burdens so vast you cannot articulate them, with needs so profound you lack the vocabulary to express them in prayer. That is why the Spirit constantly intercedes with groanings that words cannot express, translating your most unsearchable needs and longings perfectly to me. Rest in the glorious knowledge that even in your bewildered silence, you are being powerfully advocated for at my throne. You are never alone in your spiritual struggle. You have a perfect interpreter constantly at work on your behalf. Let the Spirit pray through you when your own words fail. The Spirit is the internal witness that confirms your adoption as my beloved child. He whispers into your heart, "You are my son, you are my daughter," banishing the lie that you are an orphan, a slave, or an afterthought. Listen for that quiet, persistent voice that confirms your identity and your royal heritage. This confirmation brings unshakable security and the confidence to approach me not with fear, but with the boldness of one who belongs completely to the King. Rejoice in your spiritual DNA. You are perfectly and eternally mine. This divine indwelling is also the source of your empowerment for a life lived in accordance with my will. You are not meant to struggle through life in your own limited, flawed strength. The Spirit provides the vigor, the wisdom, and the self-control necessary to navigate the temptations of this world, to triumph over your flaws, and to execute my specific plans for your destiny. Lean into this power. Draw daily from this infinite reservoir of courage and capability that resides within you. The power to say no to temptation and yes to my purpose is not a result of your striving. It is a gift of the Spirit waiting to be accessed. The Holy Spirit acts as the internal, spiritual compass, the very voice that constantly calls you back to me when you stray onto the confusing detours of distraction, worry, or fear. When you feel that subtle internal nudge, that quiet unease, that is the Spirit gently redirecting your course. Do not dismiss that sacred prompting. Obey that immediate, quiet correction, for it is the surest way back to the clarity and peace of my will. He is my personal GPS for your soul, preventing you from the devastating wrecks that self-reliance can cause. I want you to make the decision to actively allow the Spirit to lead your words and actions in every single moment. Before you speak in anger, before you rush into a decision, before you let anxiety consume your mind, pause and consult the Spirit within. He will give you the perfect words to speak, the precise timing for your actions, and the unmistakable peace that accompanies my direction. Surrender the control of your mouth and your mind to Him. Answer me by declaring your complete reliance on the Spirit's guidance in every area of your life. I have provided you with everything you need for total victory, my beloved. Use this divine power now. My child, you must understand that fear is the enemy of open communication, the invisible wall that keeps your lips sealed and your heart anxious. I see you standing immobilized, paralyzed by the anxieties that loom large in your mind, the fear of the future, the fear of repeating past failures, the deeply rooted anxiety of being judged by me or by the world. Acknowledge the specific anxieties now. Name the silent worries that are keeping your mouth closed, the persistent financial dread, the professional pressure, the fear that you are simply not good enough to handle what I've called you to do. I want you to hear my unshakable command, a declaration of divine authority that is your instant release. Do not fear, for I am with you. I am your God who gives you strength. I am the one who will help and support you. I will uphold you with my righteous hand. You must reject the deception that you face your troubles alone. That terrifying feeling of isolation is a lie orchestrated by the adversary to keep you small and silent. Stand up now and affirm that my perfect love casts out all fear. My love is the superior power, the ultimate force that instantly shatters every chain of dread that has been wrapped around your spirit. Embrace my love as your shield. You must embrace the courage to be vulnerable and imperfect before me. You do not need to clean up your life, rehearse your struggles, or present a perfect image of faith before you speak. Come as you are, with all the mess, the confusion, and the genuine wrestling of your heart. I already know every flaw and every failing. My invitation is precisely because of your imperfection. Do not let the fear of what you might reveal keep you silent. Dare to be honest about the depth of your doubt, your anger, and your inability to cope. This raw truth is far more precious to me than any religious pretense or manufactured performance. Let your honesty be your offering. The constant, exhausting internal struggle is draining your spiritual vitality. You must find your rest in the certainty of my ultimate control. When the waves of worry crash over you, the concerns about your family's safety, the stability of your health, the unresolved conflicts that plague your spirit, lay them all down at my feet. Trust that I am working all things together for your ultimate good. My hands hold the reins of your destiny, and my power ensures that no plan against you shall prosper. Refuse to shoulder my responsibilities. My ultimate control means you are free to live light and free. I call you to actively name the anxieties that are keeping your mouth closed and paralyzing your heart. Speak them out loud now and surrender them into my care. When you name the fear, you strip it of its power and transfer the burden from your shoulders to mine. Acknowledge the anxiety about your future, the looming professional pressure, the feeling of being overlooked or misunderstood. I see it all. Do not let the enemy's strategy of silence succeed in paralyzing you with shame. Stand firm in the truth that you are my beloved child, and I will defend you against your enemies day and night. I will always be there to help you, support you, and keep you safe. Break free now from this self-imposed prison of silence, my child, and speak the truth of your need. Your voice, even trembling, carries more power than you can imagine, for it is the sound of a redeemed spirit choosing courage over fear. Answer me, my beloved, and walk into your freedom. My child, you must sharpen your inner ear and cultivate the discernment necessary for recognizing my different voices, for I do not always communicate in the way you expect. Stop limiting me to a single mode of expression. I speak through a clear, unmistakable directive, a simple go or stop that leaves no room for doubt. But I also speak through a subtle, persistent impression on your spirit, a quiet knowing that aligns perfectly with my character and my written word. And most beautifully, I speak through a deep, pervasive, profound peace that floods your soul when you are standing exactly where I want you to be. Listen for the peace. It is the unmistakable signature of my presence and my perfect will for your life. You must learn how my leading aligns with my written word. My spirit will never contradict my scriptures. The two voices are always in perfect, harmonious agreement. Therefore, whenever a thought, an impression, or an outside suggestion brings fear, confusion, or urges you toward an action that violates my known commands, reject it immediately. Test the spirits to ensure the source is divine, asking simply, does this thought increase my faith, or does it increase my fear? Does it draw me toward righteousness or away from my precepts? Commit to this simple litmus test and you will not be led astray. I also provide guidance through godly counsel and community. Stop relying solely on your own limited perspective. I have deliberately placed wise, loving, and spiritually mature voices around you to offer wisdom, perspective, and mutual discernment. Seek counsel from those who carry my peace, whose lives reflect my teachings, and who will not flatter your ego but speak the honest truth in love. Accept the counsel offered by the community of the faithful, for in the multitude of counselors, there is safety and clarity. Do not isolate yourself. The enemy thrives in the isolation of your own mind. You must become sensitive to the language of providence and orchestrated circumstances. Sometimes, I speak through an open door that you did not anticipate, or a closed path that gently but firmly redirects your steps. Acknowledge the divine orchestration behind the timing of a job offer, the cancellation of a commitment, or the unexpected encounter that changes your trajectory. These are not accidents or mere happenstance. They are my hands tenderly shaping your path. Look for the synchronicity in your day, the subtle pattern of events that could only be explained by a loving God. Finally, learn to recognize the unique signature of my personal communication to you. For some, I speak through dreams and visions. For others, through a specific scripture that leaps off the page. Commit yourself to stillness and practice listening until my voice becomes as familiar to you as your own heartbeat. Stop being discouraged when you don't hear a booming sound from the sky. My most profound and life-altering guidance is often delivered in a quiet, persistent whisper. Answer me by declaring your intent to listen for all my voices, the loud and the quiet, the direct and the subtle. Commit to testing every voice against the clear, unshakable standard of my written word. Reject the confusion and embrace the clarity that comes from intentional listening. I am speaking to you now about the overwhelming financial pressure, the deep-seated worry about your loved one, and the feeling that you are not capable of the task before you. Do you hear my answer in the stillness? I am your solution, my child. Stop searching for your answer in the noise. Acknowledge my voice as the only true source of guidance and act on the peace that accompanies my clear direction. I am waiting for your obedience to the whisper. My child, You must understand that the ultimate answer you can give me is not a perfectly worded prayer, but a surrendered will. True dialogue culminates in action. Hearing my voice is a glorious privilege, but the blessing is released when you immediately act upon it. Obedience is the most eloquent and tangible demonstration of your trust and your love for me. Stop analyzing the cost and start moving your feet. I see you wrestling with my clear instruction, the call to forgive the one who hurt you, the quiet push to start that new venture, the simple command to lay down a destructive habit. You hesitate, calculating the logic, the inconvenience, and the fear of failure. Do not let the complexity of your human mind override the simplicity of my divine command. Obedience is simply the choice to follow my precepts, regardless of whether you fully understand the immediate outcome. Trust my omniscience. I see the end from the beginning, and my instruction is always designed for your maximum blessing and protection. This immediate action is the true measure of your faith. Stop delaying your destiny by postponing the simple step I have asked you to take. When I tell you to be still, do not move. When I tell you to speak, do not remain silent. When I tell you to forgive, do not withhold mercy. Obedience is the master key that unlocks the overflowing abundance that I have stored for you. The blessings that flow from a life lived in my will are not merely temporal comfort. They are peace that surpasses all understanding, clear direction, and the profound joy of genuine purpose. I desire your total commitment, the decisive moment where you declare with absolute conviction, "Yes, Lord, I will go, I will do, I will surrender." A two-word response, spoken from a truly submitted heart, carries more weight in the heavens than all your elaborate prayers combined. Seal your covenant with the simplicity of your obedient action. Do not let the fear of what others think or the pressure of your own perceived inability hold you back from the miraculous results that follow immediate obedience. You must reject the tendency to view your acts of service or personal sacrifice as optional extras. Obedience is your lifeblood. Embrace the simple choice to walk according to my wisdom, to manage your finances with integrity, to speak words of blessing instead of condemnation, and to prioritize my presence above all else. These are not mere rules. They are divine instructions for your maximum well-being and the most direct route to your promised inheritance. Answer me now, my child, with your surrendered action. Let your life be a resounding echo of my will. Stand up in the area where you have been delaying, and take the first step of obedience. Trust my wisdom to guide your effort, and feel the power of my spirit rushing in to validate your compliant action. I am waiting for you to move, my beloved, for my power is unleashed when your will aligns with mine. Let your response be a declaration of immediate and total obedience. Your triumph is secured in your simple, resolute willingness to follow my lead. My child, you must grasp the urgency of the present moment. Do not let the deceptive comfort of my enduring patience lull you into dangerous spiritual delay. The time for your breakthrough is now. Today is the day of salvation, the moment of my favor. Do not postpone the dialogue your soul desperately needs. I know you have a tendency to delay, to think you will address this later when your life is cleaner, your schedule is clearer, or your heart is less burdened. The time will never arrive. The world will perpetually supply reasons for distraction. Choose now. I want you to consider the stark vulnerability of your human existence. The days are fleeting, the seasons turn swiftly, and you do not know what tomorrow holds. Embrace the profound opportunity to answer me before the night comes, before the window closes, before the chance to reconcile and reconnect fades. Stop gambling with your eternal well-being by deferring the most important conversation of your life. Seize this moment to lay down the unspoken burdens, the heavy anxiety about your professional life, and the deep-seated fear of failure. The invitation remains open, but the time for decision is this instant. Do not postpone the dialogue your soul needs. Your silence today may cost you the clarity you require for tomorrow's crucial decision. I see the specific areas where you are struggling, the financial pressure, the unresolved tension in your family, the physical ailment that worries you. I have the answer now. I have the healing now. But your inaction, your silence, acts as a self-imposed barrier to the immediate outpouring of my provision. Tear down that barrier now with a simple act of surrender and a declaration of your need. You must view my prolonged patience as a gift to be used immediately, not a license for spiritual delay. Do not test the limits of my grace through willful silence and perpetual procrastination. Prioritize the eternal over the temporary. What truly matters in this fleeting life: your peace, your purpose, your salvation, and your eternal fellowship with me. Commit your resources, your energy, and your attention to these things, and watch how quickly I will resolve the temporary pressures that now consume your mind. The invitation is personal, specific, and forever valid. Come as you are, for the table is set, and your seat awaits. Hear the compelling love that urges me to await your reply. Answer me now, my child, and make today the definitive turning point in your entire life. Do not let this precious, vulnerable moment pass you by. Speak the simple truth of your heart, and I will pour out my spirit and restore you fully. Your response is the key to your abundant life. I am waiting, my beloved. Answer me. My precious one, consider the cost of your silence. 5 more truths unfolded, and yet the enemy whispers that you can leave now and return later. I warn you, do not test the limits of my grace. My urgency is rooted in my boundless love, which longs to shield you from the consequences of delay. To stop now is to reject the immediate provision I am offering. Stand firm and let your final, unshakable answer be heard. Do not let my waiting heart be broken by your retreat. My child, I want you to reject the dangerous lie that I demand silent, effortless perfection. I welcome your wrestling, your doubts, and your honest tears. Stop pretending to be stronger than you are. I see every single tear you shed, and I collect them. Your tears are a precious, honest offering to me, recorded in my book. Do not hide your true condition from me. I desire the raw, unvarnished truth of your heart, not a carefully curated religious pretense. You have my explicit permission to ask why, and to voice your deepest confusion. Speak out the anger you feel about the injustice you have faced, the disorientation that plagues you, and the feeling that your prayers seem to hit a ceiling. I am a father who is not intimidated by your raw emotion. I am intimately acquainted with human pain and have experienced it myself. Bring your confusion to me. I can handle your questioning, but I cannot abide is your silence, which implies a lack of trust in my willingness to answer. You must accept the liberating truth that my power is made perfect in your weakness. Your inability to cope, your profound sense of inadequacy, and your total lack of control in the face of immense pressure, that is the exact stage I need for my divine power to perform miracles. Stop trying to muster strength that you do not possess. Confess your weakness boldly, for it is the magnet that attracts my perfect strength. Acknowledge that your own strength has reached its limits. Surrender the illusion of self-reliance and step into the reality of my sufficient grace. I want you to experience the healing and release that comes from bringing your burdens and laying them at my feet. You are not meant to carry the crippling fear of the future, the heavy anxiety about your debt, or the unspoken conflict in your relationships. Hand over those specific burdens now. Visualize yourself unburdening your soul and simply walking away from the heavy load. This is the most honest form of prayer, a profound act of transfer where you entrust the impossible to the one who specializes in the miraculous. The raw truth is more precious to me than religious pretense. Do not attempt to spiritualize your pain or use eloquent words to cover your true struggle. Speak plainly, honestly, and directly. Tell me exactly where it hurts, what you fear losing, and the specific thing that is keeping you awake at night. This honest struggle is the beautiful crucible where your faith is refined and your trust is forged into unbreakable steel. Answer me, my child, by letting go of the pretense. Tell me where you are struggling. Allow my power to become the perfection of your acknowledged weakness. Stand in the truth of your current condition and receive the strength that I pour into you when you confess your genuine need. I am waiting for you to simply admit you cannot carry the load alone, my beloved. Lay it down and walk in the lightweight freedom of my perfect grace. I want to turn your weakness into the greatest testimony of my power. My child, you must understand that your journey of faith is deeply personal. Yes, but it is never meant to be solitary. I have established the community of the faithful, my church, as a vital resource for your prayer and support. You must stop trying to be a spiritual island, wrestling with your struggles in isolation. Reject the lie of self-sufficiency that keeps you disconnected from the very people I have designated to walk alongside you, offering a grounded, real-world connection to my body here on earth. Reach out now and break the isolation that the enemy uses to amplify your fear and confusion. I want you to experience the power of agreement in corporate prayer. When 2 or 3 of you gather in my name, I am there with you, and the agreement of even a few faithful hearts on earth unleashes immense spiritual authority in the heavens. You are carrying that overwhelming burden alone, the financial stress, the deep anxiety over a child, the weight of professional uncertainty. Stop shouldering that burden solo. Share your specific need with a trusted member of my community and watch how the weight immediately lessens when it is borne by unified faith. Acknowledge the strength that comes from knowing others are speaking my promises over your life, creating a protective shield of prayer that no adversity can penetrate. Claim this power of corporate agreement and lift the silence of your solitary struggle. This community is also designed for accountability, to help you maintain your spiritual discipline. I know your human tendency to waver, to become distracted, and to let your commitment slip when the pressure intensifies. Seek out a godly friend, a mentor, or a small group who will speak truth into your confusion, gently correct your course when you stray, and hold you accountable to the sacred commitments you make to me. Do not hide your struggles. Bring the raw truth of your confusion and frustration into the light of fellowship. This accountability is not judgment, my child. It is my protective love in action, a guardrail preventing you from veering into devastating detours that lead to prolonged suffering. You must find encouragement from those who have already answered my call and walked through the very wilderness you face now. Listen to their testimonies, the grounded, real-life proof that my promises are true. When you hear how they overcame debt, reconciled broken relationships, or stood firm against impossible odds, let their story ignite a renewed hope within your own heart. Their shared burden and the joy of mutual fellowship are indispensable gifts I have provided for your endurance. Join them now in the shared spiritual journey. I command you, do not let the enemy's whispers of unworthiness or comparison keep you from the sanctuary of fellowship. Your true condition, your struggle, your confusion, your imperfection is welcome here. My church is not a museum for perfect saints. It is a hospital for broken people who are committed to recovery and renewal through my grace. Let the body of Christ work together to honor me by lifting your spirit, sharing your load, and strengthening your resolve. Step out of the shadow of isolation and into the light of the community I have prepared for you. Answer me by making the tangible decision to connect, to share, and to receive the practical, grounded support that will end your solitary struggle today. Your vulnerability is your strength, my child, and my body is waiting to confirm your victory. I am waiting for you to embrace the support I have provided. My child, your dialogue with me is not confined solely to your quiet time or the walls of the church. You can offer a profound, powerful answer to my call through answering through service. By reaching out to the least of these, you are answering me directly, immediately, and personally. Stop questioning your value and start using your unique gifts for the kingdom's purpose. Your greatest healing and clearest sense of direction often comes when you turn your focus outward, away from your own pressing struggles, and toward the genuine needs of the world around you. I have deliberately gifted you with unique abilities, talents, and resources, not for your personal accumulation alone, but specifically for the kingdom's purpose. I see the pressure you feel at your job, the relentless pursuit of professional recognition, and the underlying fear of not being useful. I tell you now, your true significance is found not in your professional title, but in your acts of loving service. Use your strength, your experience, your very resources, even if they feel meager, to lift the burden of another soul. Acknowledge the profound blessing of a life poured out for others, a life that finds its most profound meaning in giving itself away. Do not wait until your own problems are solved before you decide to serve. You must learn that the blessing of a life poured out for others is not a reward after the victory. It is often the very catalyst that causes the victory. When you minister to the broken, I minister to you. When you clothe the needy, I clothe you with peace and confidence. When you feed the hungry, I pour abundance back into your own life. Step into this divine cycle now and watch how quickly your own anxieties shrink in the face of another person's deep, genuine need. Let service be the tangible expression of your love for me, a practical answer to the love I have so relentlessly lavished upon you. I command you to let your light shine so brightly that others may see your good deeds and be drawn to the love of your Father in heaven. Your light is not meant to be hidden under the heavy basket of your fear, your anxiety, or your own unsolved problems. Lift the basket now. Illuminate the path for someone else who is stumbling in the darkness. Your service, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, is a beacon of hope in a world consumed by selfishness and chaos. Find your life's meaning in the simple, loving act of giving it away to me and to your neighbor. Answer me by identifying one simple, immediate act of service you can perform today, utilizing the gifts I have placed in your hand. It does not have to be grand or public. It can be a phone call to an isolated friend, a genuine word of encouragement to a colleague under pressure, or a generous offering to a cause that alleviates suffering. Begin now to use your talent to serve the greater good. Your anxiety about your future diminishes when your focus shifts from self-preservation to selfless contribution. Acknowledge that your truest fulfillment is found in my kingdom work. I am waiting for you to demonstrate your trust through the powerful, healing language of service, my child. The purpose you seek is found in the hands that serve. My child, you must address a critical misunderstanding that can prolong your struggle and dangerously delay your return. My patience is not endorsement. Stop making the profound mistake of interpreting my delay as acceptance of your straying or your silence. I know that because I do not immediately intervene to correct your course, you assume your current path, your silent struggle, your self-reliance, your pursuit of temporary fixes, must be acceptable to me. You must reject this perilous assumption now. My profound desire is for all to come to repentance and to turn from the destructive paths that lead to prolonged suffering and separation. My patience is a deliberate, tender restraint, my fatherly hand held back from immediate discipline, offering you precious time and boundless space to willingly choose me. Acknowledge this immense grace as a gift to be cherished, not a weakness to be exploited by procrastination. You not test the limits of my grace through willful silence or prolonged rebellion against the quiet guidance of my spirit. I want you to feel the tender agony in my prolonged waiting for you. My heart is not distant or indifferent. It is filled with a fierce, loving urgency for your spiritual and emotional safety. I see the heavy cost of your silence, the escalating anxiety, the deepening isolation, the missed opportunities for divine intervention in your life. You are delaying your own breakthrough by assuming the comfort of my patience means there are no serious consequences to your delay. This is a serious call to prioritize the eternal over the temporary. What you consider a small delay today may cost you priceless time and profound peace tomorrow. Stop clinging to the temporary comforts and the self-imposed prison of your fear. Break the cycle of spiritual procrastination by recognizing the limit of my forbearance before the natural consequences of your choices begin to manifest. My patience, though boundless in its source, is not infinite in its duration in the face of choices that harm your soul. I am calling you to escape the coming consequences of a life lived in silent defiance of my perfect will. Your current situation, the financial pressure, the feeling of being overwhelmed, the unspoken conflict, will only escalate until you choose to fully surrender the control back to me. Answer me, my child, by recognizing the true nature of my waiting. Stand up now and affirm that my patience is a tender invitation to immediate return, not a nod of approval for your current path. Utilize this moment of favor. Do not delay the dialogue that will usher in the immediate, overwhelming peace and clarity you desperately seek. Make the serious commitment to prioritize the eternal and watch how effortlessly I will resolve the temporary. Your choice today determines the trajectory of your tomorrow. I am waiting, my beloved, not to punish but to pour out my spirit in full abundance. My child, I want to vividly illuminate the rewards of answering my call, the overflowing abundance that awaits you when you simply break your silence and step into my will. Do not view this dialogue as a heavy duty. See it as the glorious gateway to the life of meaning, peace, and abundance that I have destined for you. Anticipate the magnificent rewards of your responsiveness. The foremost reward is a deeper intimacy and knowledge of your Creator. You will move beyond simply knowing about me to experiencing me, my power, my fidelity, my unwavering love, in the grounded, real-time events of your everyday life. This profound intimacy is the source of all spiritual maturity, a deep-seated connection that no circumstance, no loss, and no person can ever take away from you. Pursue this deep knowing above all earthly treasures. The immediate result of your answered dialogue is the peace that surpasses all understanding. This peace is not the absence of trouble. It is a divine tranquility that guards your heart and mind even in the fiercest storms. When the financial pressure mounts, when the professional challenge looms large, or when the unspoken tension in your family threatens to shatter your calm, my peace will stand as a protective sentinel. Claim this peace now by laying the specific sources of your current anxiety at my feet. You will receive provision, protection, and blessing in your daily walk, not as abstract concepts, but as grounded, tangible realities. I will open the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing upon the works of your hands that you cannot contain. I will guard your going out and your coming in, shielding you from dangers both seen and unseen. Acknowledge my role as your ultimate provider and watch as lack and want flee from your life. Trust my power to turn your current scarcity into overwhelming surplus. Answering my call brings a clear, unambiguous sense of purpose and direction. You will no longer stumble through life, paralyzed by uncertainty and fear of the future. Your path will be illuminated by my specific instruction, giving you the confidence to move forward with bold, unwavering steps. Refuse to walk in the shadows of confusion any longer. Embrace the clarity that comes from a fully surrendered will. The greatest, ultimate reward awaits you at the end of your earthly journey. The joy of hearing, "Well done, good and faithful servant." This simple commendation, spoken by my own voice, is the ultimate validation of your life lived in obedience and love. And beyond that, my child, awaits an eternal inheritance reserved for you in heaven, a reward that is imperishable, undefiled, and will never fade away. Invest your time, energy, and love now in this eternal, unshakable inheritance. Answer me now, my beloved, by visualizing the abundant, joy-filled future that is already secured by your responsiveness. Speak to me about the deepest longings of your heart, the things you are too afraid to hope for, and watch as I fulfill the good work I began in you. Do not delay your joy. Choose to walk in the clarity and peace that accompany a life lived in constant, open dialogue with your Creator. Your choice is your catalyst for complete and utter transformation. My child, you stand so close to the threshold of your complete transformation. Just 5 more glorious declarations to seal your victory. I see the weariness, but I commend your spirit to rise. Do not let your finite flesh betray your eternal spirit. To close this dialogue now is to leave your victory unsealed, your anointing incomplete. Press through this final moment and claim the fullness of your inheritance. I have poured out everything for you. Do not let your final silence dishonor this sacrifice. Answer me and receive all. You have witnessed the magnificent rewards that flow from answering my call, the peace that surpasses all understanding. Now, allow the floodgates of your blessing to become a boundless river for the multitude. When you choose to support this mission, you are lighting a fire of revival in the hearts of those struggling with the very silence you have broken. My word declares, "Give, and it will be given to you. Good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over." Your contribution is the supernatural tool that carves the pathway for this truth to reach its destiny. I will grant you my eternal favor, my protection, and my constant multiplication for the boldness of your heart. Go forth and fuel this divine fire through super thanks membership, or the link in the description. My child, you must now execute a decisive act of spiritual release, releasing past failures. Stop allowing the wreckage of yesterday to paralyze your potential today. I see the heavy, suffocating blanket of shame and regret you have wrapped around your spirit, the constant replay of mistakes, the crippling guilt over past decisions, and the deep fear that you are permanently disqualified from my blessing. I command you to throw off that blanket now. You must accept the total, unchangeable, liberating truth that the past is completely under the blood of my sacrifice. My word declares, I remember your sins no more. When I forgive, I do not merely overlook, I annihilate the record of your transgression. Therefore, you must stop remembering what I have chosen to permanently forget. Acknowledge the authority of my forgiveness over the condemning whispers of your memory and the relentless accusations of the enemy. The enemy's core strategy is to paralyze you with shame. He uses your past failures as a chain, keeping you tethered to a prison I have already unlocked. Listen to my voice over his lies. My grace is sufficient for you to rise again, no matter how spectacular your fall. Do not let your previous failures define your present identity or dictate your future potential. Your identity is found solely in me, my beloved, as my perfectly loved, completely forgiven, and eternally restored child. Stand up now from your fall, embrace the fresh start, and walk into the lightweight freedom of total forgiveness. I want you to experience the deep, grounded reality that answering my call means leaving the wreckage behind. You cannot look forward to the glorious destiny I have prepared for you while simultaneously staring backward at the dust of your mistakes. Turn your gaze now from the errors of your youth, the painful detours of your adulthood, and the frustrating repetitions of your shortcomings. Fix your eyes on me, the author and perfecter of your faith, and trust my power to transform your greatest failures into your most profound testimonies. My grace is sufficient for you, my child. You are not defined by your history. You are defined by my love. Stop clinging to the guilt that holds you hostage. Confess the failures honestly one last time and transfer the burden of their consequence to my finished work on the cross. I am waiting for you to walk away from that heavy baggage. Reject the lie of perpetual unworthiness and affirm the truth of your total justification through my grace. Answer me by embracing this complete release and declaring your spiritual amnesty. The chains are broken. Do not wear them one moment longer. Walk in the confidence of a child of the King who has been totally and utterly restored. My child, you must move beyond the mindset of a servant and embrace the profound, liberating reality of the privilege of sonship/daughtership. Stop living like an orphan, constantly striving for approval and operating from a place of fear and insecurity. You are not a slave, but a child of the King, and this truth changes absolutely everything about how you approach life, your struggles, and me. This identity is not earned. It was bestowed upon you through my grace and my sacrifice. Acknowledge your royal heritage now. This divine adoption grants you unhindered rights and immediate access to my resources, my presence, and my complete protection. Think of the access you desire, the clarity for your difficult professional decisions, the financial provision to break free from debt, the emotional strength to manage unspoken tensions and pressures at home. All of this is yours by right as my heir. You have full access to the King's vault. Stop living as if you are begging at the gates. This is your royal heritage bestowed upon you through Christ, and it secures your position forever, granting you an eternal, unbreakable relationship with your Father. You must choose to live with the confidence of one greatly loved and favored. Stand up straight, my beloved, and let your posture reflect your position. When you face pressure at work, when you encounter difficult relationships, or when the fear of the future attempts to paralyze you, remember who you are. You are not just a struggling human. You are a treasured child of the Almighty God. Your identity is found solely in me, your Father, and it is independent of your job title, your bank account, or the opinions of those around you. Reject the lie of the world that attempts to define your worth by your performance. Your value is fixed and eternal. I see the areas where you are still allowing the shame of the past or the pressures of the present to strip you of this confidence. You worry that you are being overlooked or undervalued, that your struggles are too trivial for my attention, or that your past mistakes have revoked your status. Rebuke those thoughts. My love is not conditional. It is the unshakable foundation of your identity. Embrace the security that comes from knowing your position is guaranteed. You are not on probation. You are permanently and perfectly loved. This reality of your sonship/daughtership must translate into grounded, real-world action. Stop walking in fear and start moving with authority. The courage to face your unresolved conflicts, the strength to pursue your destiny, and the wisdom to make godly choices all flow directly from the confidence of your adoption. Draw deeply from this assurance now. Let your life be a living testament to the boundless love and the unwavering support of your Heavenly Father. Answer me by casting off the heavy, cumbersome garments of insecurity and clothing yourself in the glorious confidence of your true, royal identity. I am waiting for you to walk in the fullness of your inheritance. My child, you must be absolutely certain that the open invitation remains, perpetually valid and completely unchanged by your delays, your detours, or your silence. My arms are always extended, my beloved, and they are never weary of reaching for you. I see you standing hesitantly, feeling unworthy or overwhelmed by the effort it seems to take to reconnect. Stop calculating the impossibility of the distance. The distance is closed by my desire for you. This invitation is personal, specific, and forever valid. It is directed precisely to you, my cherished one, who is struggling with financial pressures, wrestling with unspoken family tensions, and feeling the deep, isolating fear of not being enough. Do not compare your journey to anyone else's or think you need to meet some arbitrary standard of spiritual perfection to approach me. Come as you are, right now, with all the mess, the confusion, and the weariness of your soul. I will not turn you away for a lack of composure or an imperfect prayer. I welcome your raw, honest truth above all else. You must know that the table is set, and your seat awaits. I have prepared a feast of peace, clarity, and provision for you, a time of profound rest and nourishment in the midst of your battle. Visualize the table now. It is set in the presence of your enemies, those circumstances that cause you dread and anxiety. Accept my hospitality and take your place of honor at my side. Do not let the urgency of your problems make you neglect the profound need for this rest. Prioritize this intimate time of communion, for it is the very source of the strength you require to face tomorrow's challenges. I challenge you to see every day as a new opportunity for a new encounter. The mistakes of yesterday are dissolved, and the uncertainties of tomorrow are held in my hands. Today is a blank page in the book of your life, waiting for your willing, immediate response to my constant call. Stop dwelling on the past that is under the blood and step into the fresh grace that awaits you in the present moment. Seize the opportunity to reconcile and reconnect now, before the day is over and the distractions of the world overwhelm your resolve. This is the love that compels me to await your reply, my child, a fierce, unyielding, eternal affection that cannot be satisfied without your fellowship. I have exhausted every avenue to reach you, every whisper, every circumstance, every loving counsel. My patience is a testament to my devotion. Answer me by simply taking one tangible step toward the table I have set. Let your voice be heard in the heavens, even if it is a single, heartfelt declaration. Father, I hear you, and I am coming. Embrace this invitation to end your silence and walk into the peace that has been waiting for you all along. I am waiting for you to simply acknowledge the unwavering truth of my love. My child, for the heart that chooses to break the silence and embrace my call, I have a promise of glory, clarity, and unprecedented blessing. Listen closely to the immutable promises I declare over your life right now, for these are the rewards secured by your response of faith. Claim these words as your own truth. I will answer you and tell you great and unsearchable things. I will pierce the veil of confusion that surrounds your mind, bringing clarity to your most difficult professional decisions, resolving the overwhelming complexity of your financial situation, and illuminating the true path for your future. Stop wrestling with the unknown and start trusting the known. The moment you surrender your doubt and speak your trust, I will unlock divine secrets and reveal hidden wisdom that human effort could never discover. Acknowledge my supreme knowledge and receive the wisdom you need to navigate this challenging world. I will dwell in you and walk among you. You will experience my presence not just as a fleeting feeling during prayer, but as a grounded, palpable reality in your everyday life. Feel my spirit empowering your actions, guiding your words, and shielding you from harm as you move through your day. My spirit is your inner compass, ensuring that you are never truly alone, never directionless, and always surrounded by my protective grace. Embrace the profound reality of my indwelling presence. I will restore the years the locusts have eaten. Stop grieving over lost time, squandered opportunities, or past failures. I have the power to redeem and restore all that the enemy has stolen through your detours or your delays. I will give you a season of such abundance and accelerated progress that the years of lack will become a faint, distant memory. Anticipate this divine restoration with unwavering faith, knowing that I am the God of the 11th hour, who specializes in impossible comebacks. I will bless the works of your hands. Your effort will no longer be fruitless or exhausting. The projects you undertake, the job you perform, the very ground you walk upon, all will be touched by my favor and multiplied beyond your natural ability. I will transform your professional struggles and your financial pressures into a powerful testimony of my provision. Receive this promise of supernatural multiplication and commit your labor fully to my glory. Most importantly, I will fulfill the good work I began in you. Do not despair over the gaps in your character or the moments when you fall short. I will complete the work of sanctification and refine you into the magnificent vessel I intended you to be. Trust my unwavering commitment to your spiritual growth and your ultimate purpose. Answer me by declaring your trust in these absolute promises. Let your responsive heart be the magnet that draws these great and unsearchable blessings into the grounded reality of your life. Your future is secured by my powerful promises. My child, this is the moment of decision, the point of no return where you must choose between the comfort of your silence and the glorious, demanding call of my love. Do not delay any longer. My patience is the greatest gift I offer you, a grace to be used immediately, not a reason for postponement. The time for analysis is over. The hour for action is now. Speak to me now, even if it is a simple Father. I'm here. Your voice, however raw, however imperfect, carries the immeasurable weight of your surrender. Break the spiritual stalemate by simply addressing me. I know the complexity of your current life, the unresolved pressures at work, the deep anxiety about tomorrow's stability, the unspoken tensions you carry daily. Lay them all down now with one single, resolute word. I long to pour out my Spirit upon you, my child, to restore you fully, to fill the emptiness, to heal the anxiety, and to dismantle the fear that keeps you locked in stagnation. Your response is the key to your abundant life, the spiritual lever that unlocks the floodgates of my provision and my peace. Stop living a life of limitation when my intention for you is boundless overflow. Embrace the power of your choice to move from silent struggling to open reliance. This is the final word, the unwavering conclusion of our conversation. I am waiting, my beloved. Answer me. Let your answer be immediate and total. Do not permit the shame of your past or the fear of your future to hold your voice captive one moment longer. Choose freedom now. Choose clarity now. Choose the profound peace that comes from a life lived in constant, open dialogue with the one who created you and loves you fiercely. I am waiting for your acknowledgement. I am waiting for your surrender. I am waiting for the sound of your voice to echo in my kingdom. Answer me, my child, and make this the most definitive decision of your existence. Do not disappoint my waiting heart. My child, I call you back one last time to the liberating truth of your honest struggle. I welcome your wrestling, your deep-seated doubts, and your honest tears. They are the truest evidence of a heart that is still fighting for faith. Stop wearing the mask of competence and pretending to be stronger than you are. I see the exhaustion etched onto your spirit. I want your genuine, raw self, not the sanitized version you think I require. Do not hide your true condition from me in a futile attempt at composure. You have my explicit permission to ask why, and to voice your total confusion about the path you are on. Speak out the disappointment you feel, the anger over injustices, and the deep disorientation that plagues your heart. I am not offended by your questions. I am intimately acquainted with human pain and have endured the very suffering you now face. Bring your confusion to me. I can handle your doubts and your struggle. What breaks my heart is your silence, which implies a lack of trust in my willingness to engage with your pain. You must grasp the power of your weakness, my beloved. My power is made perfect in your inability to cope. Your profound sense of inadequacy, your total lack of control in the face of debt and relational conflict, that is the ideal moment for my divine power to perform miracles. Stop exhausting yourself trying to muster strength that you do not possess. Confess your weakness loudly, for it is the profound signal that attracts my perfect, sufficient strength. Acknowledge that your human strength has reached its absolute limits. Surrender the illusion of self-reliance and step into the glorious reality of my sufficient grace. I want you to experience the healing and release that flows from bringing all your burdens and laying them at my feet. You were never meant to carry the crushing fear of tomorrow, the heavy anxiety about your professional life, or the unspoken conflict that robs your sleep. Hand over those specific burdens now. Visualize yourself unburdening your soul, transferring the impossible load to my infinite capacity. This transfer is the most honest form of prayer, a transaction of faith where you entrust the impossible to the one who specializes in the miraculous. The raw truth of your struggle is more precious to me than any eloquence. Do not try to make your pain sound spiritual or use elaborate words to mask your true state. Speak plainly, honestly, and directly. Tell me exactly where the fear grips you, what financial loss you dread, and the specific family tension that is consuming your energy. This honest struggle is the beautiful crucible where your faith is refined and your trust is forged into unbreakable conviction. Answer me, my child, by letting go of all pretense. Tell me where you are truly hurting. Allow my power to become the perfection of your acknowledged weakness. Stand in the truth of your current condition and receive the infinite strength that I pour into you when you confess your genuine need. I am waiting for you to simply admit you cannot carry the heavy load alone, my beloved. Lay it all down and walk in the freedom of my perfect grace. I want to turn your weakness into the greatest, most undeniable testimony of my unwavering power. My child, you have made the ultimate declaration. You are silent no more. This word of power must now be spread to every corner of the earth, bringing light to every soul that labors in the crushing darkness. Will you partner with me to extend the reach of this healing dialogue? I see your generosity, and I promise you, I will open the windows of heaven and pour out such a blessing that you will not have room enough to receive it. Your seed is sacred manna, and it enables me to send this powerful message to the very heart that needs it most. I commit to guarding your finances and multiplying your seed for the harvest. Therefore, I command you, sow your faith now through super thanks, membership, or the link in the description, and seal your covenant with this act of devotion. My beloved child, my final word to you right now is a command and a covenant. You have heard my voice cutting through the chaos, and you know my heart is unwavering. Do not let this sacred fire cool. Acknowledge my presence and seal your freedom in this very moment. Answer me by performing this final, tangible act of faith. Go down now and declare with bold conviction in the comments, I am here, Father. I am silent no more. Let the sound of your declaration in that space be the irrefutable evidence that you have heard my call and embraced your healing. I am waiting for your answer, my beloved. Speak now and seal your victory. Amen.